boy. Look, you got me tonight with the intro all on my own because Alex has the pneumonia. It ain't ammonia. It ain't old pneumonia. It's pneumonia. And he ain't here because he got pneumonia. So I figured, let me call our good friend, John, a.k.a. Drunkwood, and let's play guest roulette. Because the last time we had guest roulette with John, it was a star-studded event. And it was a good-ass time. It was wonderful. And I just had to do it again. I had to do it again.
It could be the same thing. I may send some text. Actually, I'm gonna pull it up on my phone again. I may send some random text out to people and just see who answers.
Look, we had on that last podcast, I can't remember the episode, but if you go search Drunkwood, I'm sure Alex has his name in there. It'll come up. We had people showing up. I had no idea who the fuck they were. And I was just letting them in, and we rolled with it. It was a great time. Matter of fact, we had one of my fishing heroes, Frank Scalish, on that episode, and I was starstruck. Drunkwood could have got us canceled that night, and that would have been our last episode, and I would have been fine with it.
I'm going to tell you something. This first guest that's going to come on has probably been discussed, maybe top tier the most in your podcast, and is a big get for you. And once Alex wakes up from he's probably got like water bottles around his little old neck or something like that.
He can't put water bottles around his neck because he ain't much taller than a water bottle.
Yeah, that's true. Once he finds, it's kind of like the Pangrac episode. Once he finds out who was on tonight, he's not going to be happy.
Look, this is what happens when you miss Bass and Brews, Alex. I have missed 2, maybe 3 episodes I hadn't been on since I started. And Alex, obviously, he was serving our country in the defense of our country and the Coast Guard, and that was excusable. But some of these other things have not been excusable. He missed the Greg Blanchard episode because his daughters were sick. And so, we got to do this to him. We got to keep Alex interested in doing this podcast because he does all the work. I just show up and run my mouth every episode. So we have to keep him thinking that there's going to be, brighter days ahead.
You know what's not excusable? Having an anniversary date with your wife and wearing a shirt where your belly is just sticking out from the buttons of your shirt.
Fuck
The pants aren't ironed, and your wife's like, "Happy anniversary with my husband." And I see the photo, the shirt's wrinkled, the pants are wrinkled, it's open up.
All right. First of all, it was my birthday supper at the Angus Barn in Raleigh, which is one of the hardest places. We had to make this reservation a year in advance. And it was a month before my birthday. Second of all, I own my own business, and I came home.
So do I.
Yeah, I know. We know. You make some cool ass fucking wood shit, but I crush trash. So, anyway,
that's not a way to talk about your wife.
Listen. I come home. I've lost 25 pounds. Well, 27. I've lost 27 pounds. So I come home. I don't know what I'm going to wear to this restaurant because what I wear every day is a fucking bright ass neon yellow Crusher shirt. Damn, I burped. And transition pants. That's what I wear. So I get home.
What are transition pants?
Transition pants are the zip off pants. They zip off at the knees. They're like what hikers or granola people wear.
We make fun of people.
Right. They're the dad pants.
Speaking of that, and we're going to get on. Let me finish. Speaking of that,
no. Let me finish my story. No, you can't dog me about my fucking linen being. Look, first of all, linen should be a little wrinkly. It was true linen should be a little wrinkly.
Nut sacks are wrinkly.
Second,
linen.
Yes, well, both of our nut sacks are very wrinkly, and so our attire should match it. All right, I get home I'm like, what the fuck am I going to wear? Because I've got $1,000 suits in there from when I was halfway skinny that I didn't know if I didn't even want to try those on. So I've grabbed the linen, the last thing I wore when I weighed 27 pounds heavier. I'm like, damn, this shit's wrinkled as hell. So I threw it in the dryer while I took a shower. And what came out was as good as what came out. I wasn't pulling out the iron. But when my wife posted that picture on Instagram and I looked at it and I saw my shirt had caught hers and had pulled it over, I'm like, you know what? I've lost 27 pounds. I'm pretty proud of myself, but I
couldn't tell.
I look like, exactly. That's exactly what I said. Is I can't tell. And then we get a text message from John the next day. This
Before 7
sends a
a.m.
text message with him zooming in on a video screenshot of my belly poking out. You know what? We can't all be skinny bitches like you.
I'm not a skinny bitch. I've lost some weight, but I'm not a skinny bitch.
You run marathons and half marathons. Only skinny people do shit like that.
I'm 42 years old. I'm in good shape for 42, but it takes a lot of fucking work. I've eaten like 3 salads this week, which is unheard of. I'm shit like a goddamn rabbit.
Speaking of salads, you got to get on the dense bean salad, the DBSs. Absolutely unbelievable.
I like beans.
Dude, look, I can't eat a ton of beans, but I wash them, all that stuff real good. But what I put most of my beans are edamame when I put it in there. But
I like it, but only to a degree.
Yeah, but it's different when you're eating it like in a bean salad versus eating the pods. Because
tell me how you like to eat it. Tell me how you like to eat that bean.
The tip of the tongue is the best way that I found out.
See, we got to get that out before this first guest. We can't be like this with this first guest.
Well, look, I see the jar behind you is empty, and that's the first time jar's ever been empty in every episode you've ever been.
There's one more. There's one last joint in here, and this is from my dad's stash.
No, there's one last cigarette in there.
I may light it up tonight, to be honest. Actually, I probably will light it up tonight.
That's what I was about to say. There's no maybe. It's probably.
I gotta get some matches for that. Yeah, so we're gonna have kind of an impromptu potpourri. If you ever watch Jeopardy, potpourri episode of Bass and Brews.
Spell potpourri.
Potpourri. Potpourri.
Hey, don't tell off at the end.
Also,
be strong with your answer because Alex would never even try to spell it. I'm proud of you.
We're going to bring this up with the guest that's going to come on in a second, but I'm very, and I sent you a text about this. I am very disappointed. I did not get a call. I did not get a, hey, comment on this when you had the camping episode, because as you know, I'm an avid backpacker, avid camper. I do camping on all my fishing tournaments, and I got no call. And I heard a lot of the shit you guys were talking. Oh, let's eat meals that are pre-prepared. You just had this boiled water.
Oh,
that's
Lord.
Bullshit. Make a meal like a goddamn man. Don't just pour water and dehydrated shit.
Do not.
You know, you can go to Kroger now. You can go to any store and get a ton of stuff that you can pack in bear canisters and things like that you couldn't do 2 years ago and have amazing meals.
Do not take camping the route of fishing. Do not be a whiny bitch, because anglers are whiny bitches. Look, here's the deal. I didn't set that up, so that's all on Alex. But
you know what? I'm gonna pee real quick before this guest comes on. Go Tinkle.
I know you're listening. Here's the deal. Smiley was our first ever guest to talk about camping. And so he has become our camping expert. But here's the thing about camping. Matter of fact, Carter and I are going camping this weekend. And we're North Carolina.
It's cold as shit.
Shut up. North Carolina.
What tells you?
It's gonna shut up. God, he's over there trying to talk a mile away, tinkling. He's probably tinkling in a bottle out the back door. But anyway, we're going camping this weekend. It's supposed to be 42 the
Too
first
cold.
night, which is cold. It's supposed to be 35 the second night. I'm super excited because Carter and I have camped, and matter of fact, every time Carter and I went camping last year, it was raining like hell or the wind was blowing like hell. So it's hopefully just going to be cold. But we have all the shit to be comfortable because I love to camp in the cold. No bugs, and you get to enjoy the fire. God damn, I got the hiccups and all kinds of shit. But anyway, back to John being all butthurt about not being on the campus. Next year we'll bring you on the camping episode. We'll have a panel and we can talk about it. But don't
one thing.
Hold on. No. Hold the fuck on now.
I can't wait till you shut the fuck up here in a second.
Well, see, now you know how Alex feels. Here's the
short, small dick.
Yep. But he made 2 babies, so we know it worked at one point. So look, here's the deal. Camping has not taken the bass fishing route of people like denigrating other people's opinions or how other people do it. Let's don't take it there. People can take Mountain House out when they go camping and eat Mountain House the whole time. They can hike with a 60-pound pack. Like, camping is pure right now. Let's not fuck it up on Bass and Brews.
You're 100% correct. And I think there's no wrong way to camp. There's a lot of right. I mean, I guess there are wrong ways to camp. There's a gazillion right ways to camp.
Right.
And the person that's going to come on here just did, and if they don't come on, then this lead-in is going to be real shitty. Just did some real cold camping in my area, my neck of the woods, and I want to kind of get their like what cold camping means to them, because I did some cold camping in Montana not too long ago. Or not was I in Montana? No, what fucking state was I in? Wyoming.
Wasn't it?
Yeah. I was in Wyoming,
yes.
And I did some cold camping.
Yeah.
And I froze and it snowed like 8 inches and froze my ass off. And
oh my God.
I was not prepared for it. And that's the thing with camping, especially when it's cold camping. If you're not prepared, go for it.
I'm going to cut you off. We got our first guest on. Should we bring them in now? Are we ready?
Bring them in. I can't see him.
Oh my goodness. For everybody that's listening and not watching, we have Kristine Fischer just popped in to Bass and Brews. What's going on, Kristine?
You guys, I'm actually on my way to Knoxville for a going away party, and I've got a car full of heathens, but I'm trying to mitigate it all and keep it all copacetic, and we're doing good.
Where are you guys heading to Knoxville?
Honest to God, I don't know. Probably somewhere pretty ridiculous, because our underage, not underage, how old's Jackson?
22.
We got one of our kayak kids is going away, moving back home. He picked this place. It's called Old City. You guys familiar with it? That's where we're going.
Old City. It's not what was the rooftop bar during the Knoxville Classic that we ended up going to every night?
Oh, I wish we were going there. That's not where we're going, but
Okay, so we were just talking about cold weather camping, which is what you just posted about and what you just did. How cold was it where you were?
Well, it felt like it was 10, but my truck said 32.
Okay. How did you tent camp?
Yes.
So if it felt like it was 10, it was 30 but it was only 32. That sounds like a southern state. Like Tennessee. The southern states, it sounds. Where were you?
Well, I'm not gonna. Hey, I don't want giving you my musky waypoint, son. I'll tell you that I was in the east part of Tennessee, but easy there.
Okay.
I was in Tennessee. That's all you need to know.
Look,
but it was the mountainous region. It was humid, so like that cold air gets to your bones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know who she was fishing with? That little dirtball deck guy, Russ Snyder's right there.
Russ Snyder's. He's a Bass and Brews legend.
Oh, I guess now I'm on the podcast too.
Russ turned around the Bass and Brews curse solely by himself.
And since then,
what?
there's a curse. You guys tell. You explain
Hold
it.
on, there's a curse. Can I wait a minute? Am I cursed?
No.
Am I cursed now being on the
I left
podcast?
the curse is now lifted.
No,
off
there was a curse for Bass and Brews. But now Russ lifted it last year, and everybody that has fished after Bass and Brews has done great. So he lifted the curse. He is a legend of Bass and Brews. He's the savior of Bass and Brews.
Oh my gosh. So you guys are telling me I'm in the midst of a prodigy?
Prodigy. Hey, Russ, I saw that picture of the muskie. How was your deck feeling after deck, D-E-C-K?
Wait, what did you just say?
Catch.
I don't think I heard you right. I didn't hear that right. But the front seat is
It's
laughing.
hardwood.
What did you just say?
Hardwood, South American, it's like an Ipe, hardwood.
What did you
All right, it's not Trex, not Trex.
No.
I know I'm not hearing them right.
That's some hillbilly
Well,
shit.
So-
hey, Russ's first
How was my
episode,
wife feeling?
That deck.
Russ's first episode, we talked about all his deck picks that he has.
Oh, yeah.
Deck. He's got
I
tons
don't
of deck
think I'm
picks.
hearing what
Deck
you guys are
picks.
saying.
Deck picks, yeah.
Deck picks?
Yeah, some
Deck
darker,
picks.
some lighter, all sorts of shapes and sizes. It just depends
So,
on, a lot of it depends
based
on
on-
weather, you know.
Shaped like an eggplant.
Hey, John, what podcast did you invite me on again?
Hey,
It'll be
Russ has been on
canceled.
twice. You're safe. Matter of fact, Jackson's been on the podcast before too.
That's who we're going to celebrate tonight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, yeah, that's not his name for fantasy football was Orgasmic. I know. I saw that. I was like, good Lord. What do we
Someone
do?
came up with that for him.
But
So-
my deck is good. I just stained it.
So you just build a brand new house.
I did.
Is
Yeah.
is Russ gonna put his deck skills
Well, you
on
gotta-
your new house?
You know, it's got to be oil based. You got to rub it in really good.
I want Ross to be no part of my house. I got this on my own.
All right, Kristine, you got this new house. Let's say you're hosting Thanksgiving. You're not going to be. You could be. You could. Let's say you're
No,
hosting
I
Thanksgiving.
actually am hosting Thanksgiving with me, myself, and I. So yes, go on.
We're going to Steve.
All right.
We're going to Steve.
You're going to make 3 sides amongst the turkey. What is Kristine Fischer making for Thanksgiving in her new house in her first new Thanksgiving?
Well, definitely. I've got this new smoke kit for old fat. Wait, we not liquor based sides.
We're talking
Yeah,
food. You can talk about drinks too.
That is-
No judgment.
Okay, first side for sure is a ribeye, medium rare, or I won't do anything above that. Yeah, I know, side. I want a ribeye for my side turkey because turkey sucks. Turkey's dry. I don't like turkey unless it's wild and I shot with my bow. But I didn't hunt this year,
No,
so
Kristine, no one likes
naturally-
it dry.
yeah, I don't like my turkey. Nobody likes the dry.
Deep fried peanut oil.
What's that M word that makes me want to throw up every time I hear it?
Moist.
Moist. It's moist. I hate it. Yeah, I don't want my turkey. I don't want, I ain't doing that. So yeah, my side for my turkey is a ribeye, blue rare, medium rare, whatever you got to do. Some sautéed onions. I also I'm a big sucker for. You got to have some veggies because we're getting older. Like we got to have that joint health and just the digestive tract's got to be right. So I'm gonna have some Brussels sprouts, sprinkle a little balsamic glaze, and do some sliced bacon.
You got to have some sweet potatoes. Come on.
Well, that's my third one. My third one is I'll take some sweet potatoes, and I don't like, the marshmallow thing's fine, but I actually do local honey. So for those of you with allergies out there, get your local raw honey.
He's got
And then do some
allergies in
cinnamon.
November.
I don't. I'm right.
I used to I had bees for 3 years.
You did not.
Yeah.
Why haven't we talked more on a personal level?
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot there. I know it's
Yeah.
your podcast, but I can
I-
ask questions too.
Yeah, I live in a townhome and I had 2 illegal beehives for 3 years.
Okay. Can I please? I would actually like to also be a beekeeper, and I did actually buy a suit 2 weeks ago.
Oh, look,
Yep.
the first thing you have to do is buy a suit. The second thing you
Where
have to
did
do
that?
is get bees. The
Where
third
do you
thing
where
you
do
have
you
to do
acquire bees?
Oh, you're in Tennessee. You can get bees any damn where around there. There's bees all over the place.
Fourth thing you got to do is watch the movie The Beekeeper, because it's a good one.
Watch the movie
Yep.
The Beekeeper.
Yeah,
Have you guys seen The Beekeeper? The movie
yes,
The Beekeeper?
it has
Is
nothing
that the
to
one
do
where,
with bees.
Nothing to do with bees.
Macaulay
Best
Culkin
movie
got
ever.
killed?
Just watch
Is
it on
that the one
Netflix
with
like a
Macaulay
month ago.
Culkin?
That's like top 5.
Why would I want to watch a movie on?
That was the one I showed you with the guy who just takes out everybody.
Oh, he's revenge, like a
Yeah.
vigilante, like
Yes.
the Punisher. That's like a
Yes.
Punisher, but more. I don't know.
Yo,
if I'd
so
like
what's
that.
his name from what was his name?
Tennessee.
What was the one with Macaulay Culkin where he got stung by the bee and died?
That's my
That's
child.
Oh, My Girl.
Those weren't bees. Those
That
were
movie,
yellow
My
jackets.
Girl?
My Girl.
Yeah,
I
remember that.
had a straight up debate with somebody on social media about those were not bees. It was a yellow jacket nest. They were not bees. Those things that stung Macaulay Culkin and he died
I
at
cried.
My Girl.
I cried in that movie. That was got to be like one of the
That's-
saddest movies ever.
That's one of the top 5
really
worst
bad.
movies
My
ever.
Girl. It was Anna Chomsky and
I cried at Home Alone with the old guy.
Yes,
The old
yes.
guy at the end. I cried at Home Alone. I'll admit
I
that.
cried a lot of Home Alone, mostly because I was laughing so hard. But yeah, it was a great movie.
All right.
Really sentimental.
Quick question. I think Russ and Kristine are around my age. I'm in the low 40s.
Whoa,
whatever.
whoa, whoa!
Hey, no.
Come on.
What did he say?
He said you're around my age, low 40s. Is that what you?
I'm
Okay.
low 40s.
What? I need my podcast host. What's his name again?
Paul?
Paul. How old do you think I am?
34 and
homeboy
3/4.
Well, I was off
Yeah,
by 1
perfect.
year.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Well, he said low 40s. You're in your
I'm
low
low
40s. I
40s.
sure said I'm not. I'm a
42.
long ways, not a long ways.
I said 35.
35. I like
About
that.
to be pretty much
You're welcome.
37.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna be 37 in 2 weeks.
Well, Kristine, to John's
Lost that bet.
defense,
Pretty bad.
you're here with us now without having the braided ponytail in and outside in the sun fishing. So you do
It's a rare sighting.
you the majority of what we see you on social media, you
right.
do look a little bit older.
Oh,
right.
more demure,
A
more.
little more.
Why?
More
A
mindful.
little more hum-
I like the one where she's got that whole scarf over her head, but like the top of the little ponytail just kind of like
Russ,
sticking
hey,
up in
Russ,
the
you
air
got-
like a Dennis
It's
the
the
Menace.
waterfall.
roadie?
I ain't trying to be
It's the
pretty
waterfall.
proud there,
Roadie?
fellas. But
Russ,
no,
you got a roadie in your hand?
what's that?
Does Russ have a
Why are they
roadie?
laughing up there?
I'll tell you later.
Okay, what did y'all say?
I asked if Russ had a roadie.
A Rudy?
Roadie.
A roadie, yeah, right.
Oh,
All right.
Is that what you're talking
water.
about? Oh no,
Yeah.
I don't even a drink. I got a
Here's
drink.
my question. Here's the question about
Okay, let me listen to the question.
you guys in age. What was the number one lie that we heard as kids that our parents told us? For example, mine was if you ate raw cookie dough, it would kill you.
That's true
Oh,
though.
wow, your
That's-
parents are my favorite. That's incredible.
That's not a lie though.
No,
I ate
raw
flour is
cookie
dough
very
today.
dangerous.
What's yours, Russ?
Yeah.
Besides Santa, I mean, that I found out that was a hoax, and I was
What the
crying
fuck?
for about a week. I don't know.
Santa ain't
But there's
real.
got to be. There's another one though. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'll think of it. Hold on.
Okay, so I've got 2. Is that legal? Can I do 2? Because
You
this
do
is
as many as you want. It's your podcast.
Okay, so the first one, my parent, when I was little, I must have picked up a bad word from probably my parents. They said it wasn't them, but one of their friends. It was the F word, and I was little. So I started saying the F word, and I was a very naturally rebellious, very intelligent child, might I say. But they were like, I kept saying it. So like, you know what the really, really bad word is? And I said, what? And they're like, Coke, like the pop. And I was like, and they're like, you can't say Coke. And guess what I did? I started saying Coke instead of the F word. And when we went to restaurants and the waitress would say that, I was like, and I got to be when I was like probably 8 or 9 years old at this point, still believing that Coke was the mother of all bad words. And that's what I would say too when things went wrong. And my parents were brilliant because they knew that I would drop the one thing I thought wasn't that bad and start saying Coke. So anytime I heard someone say like, yeah, I want a Coke, I was like,
So you were in elementary school, and when somebody was being mean to you, you'd be like, Coke you.
I said,
You're a
I
coker.
would just randomly yell out Coke, and people were like, what's your problem? Because I had no TV, and I thought that's why they thought I was weird. I was just yelling Coke all the time. But yeah. And the second one, my cat that was my best friend, his name was Rusty. And
Oh
the
my
cat
God,
was
I
like a
love
dog.
cats.
Like I didn't like cats, but this cat was like a dog. And I was probably like 16 and the cat disappeared. And because I mean it was probably like 15 years old. It was old as I'll ever get out. And it was getting pretty bad. Well, I spent I think about 2.5 months in the woods behind my house calling for it after school for hours, crying, like trying to find the cat. It had cancer. My parents didn't tell me and they put it down, but they let me continue to go out to the woods
No.
calling for this cat that
Oh
was
my.
not alive. I learned that when I was 27. And I was shattered.
That's
That's so
look,
wrong. Like, you
that's
want to know if
effed
I have
up.
trauma? There you go. There you go.
Poor Rusty.
That's messed up. That is the worst thing I've ever heard a parent doing to a child in my entire life.
If you
All
called
right.
actually, we just called my mom about an hour ago. If you told her that, dude, she'd laugh hysterically.
Hey, call her now.
We already played
We'll
one
bring
prank
her
on
on
her, like, 10
live.
minutes.
No,
ago.
we played a pretty bad prank on my mom,
That
and
wasn't a prank. She loves me more. It's
she doesn't
fine.
love you more.
Yes,
Joe.
she does.
Whatever. Yeah, no, we
All right.
already played a prank on her.
So we're gonna let you go with one last question, Kristine, because I know you guys are going out. And here's another thing too. You won't get a chance, but my friend owns a glass company / brewery in Knoxville called Pretentious Glass Company. He blows amazing glass. If you get a chance to go there, but here at this podcast, they do a segment called "Marry, Fornicate, and Kill" instead of fornicate. So we're gonna play it. So MFK, you have to choose between the Spice Girls, NSYNC, or Destiny's Child.
Ooh.
Kill
Which one are you
NSYNC.
get?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. That
Destiny's
means that I
Child.
only
Mary?
get 2 women.
Marry, fornicate, and kill.
And what were my groups again? Destiny's Child, NSYNC.
Spice
and-
Girls, Destiny's Child, or NSYNC.
So my natural inclination would be to kill NSYNC because I never, their music was garbage. But then I'd have to marry a woman, and I'm not compatible with a lot of them, unfortunately. That would not work out.
Scissor me timbers.
Okay, hold on a minute. Don't laugh at me. I'm thinking.
She likes Glorilla.
What's Glorilla? Is that like? Okay.
Whoa.
No,
What'd you do? Do it again. Do it again.
that may
I
be a
missed that.
screenshot.
You got to do that again.
Okay, so I guess I would Spice Girl. Why would you go? You gave me 3 horrible options.
No, you're
That's-
just
What would you guys fornicate if you're a
No,
man?
no.
Spice Girl.
This isn't.
Girls.
They're not on the podcast. You have the
Spice
phone.
Girls.
You're the face of Bass and Brews right now. You have to
You'd
choose.
fornicate with
Well, not
Spice Girls.
her. Is it her or me? Hold on.
I mean,
I think-
there are 5 of them, so it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, but they
Hell
all
yeah, brother.
What was the one on NSYNC that no one knew or talked about, and he looked the least gay?
Joey Fatone.
Joey-
Joey was
Okay,
pretty
that
good.
one then I guess I would have to.
He comes to the Derby
Lance
every year. I
Bass.
see him
There's
every
one
year.
called Lance
Yeah,
Bass.
that guy's gay as gay, right?
Whoa! I thought you told people the rules, John.
What?
What are the
Oh,
rules?
man. There's
It's
no-
too late
he's
now,
fine.
Kristine. It's too late.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
good.
hey, if you didn't know, I make my own rules. So I will take the one guy from NSYNC. What did you guys say, Joey? The one that's the least gay? I'll take that one.
Timberlake.
Joey Fatone.
Yeah, he's terrible. He's horrible on you and that. So I guess then to
He's
kill,
Iranian.
Kill Ford.
I
Oh, I
have
see what they're
Spice
asking.
Girls and what's the other one?
Beyonce.
Oh, Beyonce's the devil. We got to go out with Beyonce. She's gone. She's gone. Yeah, oh yeah, dude. You know what I'm saying? You can't say thank you, Beyonce. Thank you. What's it? No, it's not because she's black. What?
Oh my God! See, we don't
So,
edit
and
this
I
podcast.
guess
Now I
leaves
gotta
me
edit
with,
shit.
What's my last thing?
I don't even know what you said the first one was.
Oh well, so the last thing is Spice Girls. So we have
Mary.
to fornicate and the murder down. What's the
So
last?
you're marrying the Spice Girls.
I like Lisa Left Out.
Oh,
I gotta marry
yeah,
Spice.
Lucy.
Oh! Because the one is married to the soccer guy. So technically,
Beckham.
Spice Girls.
Yeah.
that's great. That works out great.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my answer. Final.
Sporty
Oh,
Spice.
sweet! You're gonna be a sister wife.
No, Posh Spice. Posh Spice.
Yes,
You're
I
gonna be a
am.
sister wife. There we go.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you guys for your time. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Appreciate you. Thanks for popping in, Russ.
Hey Russ.
Yeah.
Hey Russ. congratulations on winning everything because you came on Bass and Brews
Whoa,
a year and a half ago.
I didn't.
He doesn't win everything.
I can't.
Yeah, he
I
actually
finished.
does
I
win
came up a
everything.
little. I came up a little short on the Hobie, but it's a good year.
Hey, that's okay.
I
Alex
didn't even
comes.
AOY in the Hobie. No, I
You're-
didn't.
you're-
I didn't.
You
Never
got-
mind.
You're no Drew Gregory, but we love you.
That's good. Hey, everybody loves Drew.
That was actually really good. I'm gonna use that in about 3
Cleveland,
hours.
Ohio. If anybody knows that.
Awesome.
But anyway.
Thank you guys. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, you guys have a good one. We're gonna go blow some glass at Pretentious Glass Blowers.
Whoa. We
Happy
left field real
blowing.
quick, but go ahead. I
right.
like it.
Later, guys. Have a good one.
See ya.
Yeah.
They're fun.
There we go. Hey,
They're
I heard
fun.
it. They're fun at the end. Hey, you know what? I like that. I love it. Look, all right. Time out. John, before you go anywhere else,
Go ahead. I'm listening.
you texted me earlier today. I'm going to get Kristine Fischer on. Or it was yesterday, today. I can't fucking remember. I was like, quote unquote, bitch, you don't know Kristine. And then he says some derogatory something. He cussed back at me. And then Kristine shows up on the podcast on Bass and Brews. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm in double impressed. The last time I was super impressed because Frank Scalish was on Bass and Brews.
Oh shit! I did tell you. I did text you. I was going to bring it
Yeah.
on. My bad.
Yeah. And then tonight you show up with that. And now apparently we got some other guests that are going to come on later, but I have no idea who. Alex isn't here, so he has no idea who. Only John.
Well, one
knows.
of them hasn't responded, so I just texted another one. So yeah, I talked to Kristine. Kristine was just doing 2 days of camping, cold camping, and they went muskie fishing, and Russ got his first big muskie. Excuse me. They posted the pictures on social, and the muskies were huge. Obviously, Russ is awesome. Kristine just built a brand new house in Tennessee, which is sick. So she's going to be living down in this area. I'd love to. I talked with her about trying to teach me how to muskie fish on some of the rivers we have in Kentucky that are full of muskie.
Y'all got muskie in Kentucky. Are they the
Oh,
stop,
yeah.
are they the stop muskie or
Oh, they're regular muskie, not tigers. I mean, I caught a couple this year, and then they're really prevalent in the river. But it was definitely a whim. I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm just going to reach out to Kristine and see if she'd jump on. She's like, oh, yeah, I'll jump on. She's like, but I'm going out. And I didn't know. I kind of assumed Russ would be with them. But yeah, and that's why, yeah. That's
Hey,
why I was like,
speaking of cold camping, and we're going to get into a little bit of camping here because John does a lot of camping, does a lot of hiking. So
Mhm.
you, a couple months ago or a month ago, 6 or 8 weeks ago, you did kind of a tour of the West. I remember
Yeah.
on social media you had camping, hiking. I think you saw some elk.
yeah.
Um,
So
what
basically,
did you do? Tell us about what you did during that.
So basically, I have a group. My best friend that I went to graduate school with. We always do a national park trip, probably every other year, and it's basically usually anywhere from 50 to 70 miles. It's usually about 14 to 20 miles a day. So you're really hoofing it. And this one was in the Grand Tetons, and it had me, my best friend, his brother Jimmy, who he and I get along, but we antagonize each other because he's so cheap. My buddy Jordan, and then 2 new guys who'd never joined our group. So basically on these trips, I just say, you guys plan it all. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be comedic relief. And I just show up. And so we went to the Tetons, which was awesome in Jackson. Went a day early to hang out in Jackson, which was a cool town.
Yep.
A lot of kind of like Nashville, a lot of bachelorette parties. I mean, everyone was dressed to the
Way
nines.
prettier than Nashville, though.
Way prettier, beautiful area. And then met the guys that we're camping with. And in the first morning when we wake up, because I went out that night, and I took another guy with us, and he wasn't ready to go out like John King goes out. And it was about 2 or 3 in the morning, and we roll in from a piano bar, and I could tell when we started our hike, he was hurting. Like after the first mile, I'm hoofing it up because we were doing a 5-mile hike to start it. Was it 5? It may have been more. It may have been 8, but it was like
hiking. Were y'all hiking up the camp, or were you just doing like
we're in our full packs?
So you're hiking up to camp, or is it a hike up and back down?
In most situations, it was hiking up to camp, but this one was we wanted to see the Surprise Lake area, so we went hiking up.
Oh yeah, Surprise Lake, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is the hike was like 4,000 feet elevation gain, and after a night out, that first mile for him, I mean, he's just sweat. I mean, just drip, and I'm dripping because I'm like, I got fucked up on bourbon the night before, and I was dancing with. Here's the thing about Jackson. Jackson's got all these old men with money, all these old men with money, and there's all these young females there. So all these old men can't fucking dance. So I take all their little side pieces out on the dance floor, and I'm just dancing the night away to like George Strait.
All right, hold on, real quick.
Yeah.
What kind of dancing were you doing? Because it sounds like you're saying you can dance. So what kind of dance were you doing?
Oh, I can dance.
We're dancing. Were you shagging? Were you dropping? Were you like wiping off some shoes? Like what kind of dancing are we talking about?
I wasn't dropping the booty. I was definitely just regular dancing like I was in college or country line dancing. And I was regular dance. I mean, I danced a lot of different ways. I may have done a 2-step. I'm not going to lie. Which actually one of the guys that's going to come on is a big fan of the 2-step. Got to check my texts. Okay. And so whatever, it was, we had a good time in Jackson, and, we hike up, and it was once we get to the top of the trail, there's bears everywhere, and which is fine. I love bears.
Browns, grizzly,
browns. Didn't see any grizzlies. It was just nice. Browns. And so then the next morning we're leaving, and I asked the guy that's taking care of stuff. I said, "Hey man, what? Can you check the weather? Because we were supposed to get like 3 to 5 inches of potential snow." And he checks the weather for Jackson, and he goes, "Oh, it's just going to be rain. It's moved out." Well, we're not fucking in Jackson. We're in the park, actually. So we're above. Yeah. We're 3,000 feet above where he was checking.
Were you on the rim?
The rim.
So
have you been to Tetons?
Yeah, I've Jackson, Tetons.
Yeah, so we're on the we're on the outside, and then we're
Jackson's
getting ready.
In the valley. That's the rim is when you go up to the Surprise Lake and stuff like that, and obviously
so we went up there and then went all the way back down, and then went all the way back up. And we went all the way back up. It started raining, and I told him, I said, "Check the weather again." He's like, "Oh, it's just going to be rain," and he checks for the city. So then the next morning, we get to our campsite at like 3:00, and it's just dump trucking rain, and and it's my birthday, and I'm just like, fuck. I brought some bourbon. I was like, we're just gonna cook a meal, have bourbon, enjoy ourselves. We get up the next day, it's somewhat sunny, and then about 10:00 it starts sleeting, and I'm like, oh, this sucks. And that first night when we were in Jackson, I asked one of the guys who was new, I said, "Hey, you brought a jacket, right? Like a down jacket?" And he goes, "Oh no, I just got a hooded sweatshirt." I go, I said, "Bud, it's going to get down to 32 degrees. I said, you need a jacket.
32 and moist.
And moist. He's like, "Oh, I'll be fine." I go, "No." I said, "We're going to go find you a jacket." Well, the issue was, if you're in downtown Jackson, they have a ton of different, like really high-end stores to buy really good outdoor equipment.
Eclectic shops with a
and here's the thing is, if you want good gear, you have to pay the money for it.
Right.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, and he was wanting to go to REI, and we eventually found a fucking TJ Maxx. So where he bought some shit jacket for like $25 fucking dollars. And I'm pissed because we're fucking dicking around at TJ Maxx in goddamn Jackson, Wyoming. I want to be on the
birthday.
trails.
On your
On my birthday. I'm like, I'm in Jackson. I want to either be drinking beer, looking at on the trails. Yeah, I just don't want to be here. So, whatever. He gets the jacket. We're on the camp. He's so thankful to have the jacket. And it's raining. Then all of a sudden, I'm hiking with him. It starts sleeting. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. Then it starts snowing. And I'm like, holy shit, September, it's snowing. This is kind of cool. And then it really starts fucking snowing. And it's starting to collect in the middle of the trail, which is starting to get wet. And I can tell all the guys with me, their demeanor is starting to go down. The guy that didn't have fucking a jacket didn't have gloves either.
He probably had shitty socks, and his feet were probably getting super duper cold too. Look, snow. The first thing that's gonna fuck you with snow are your shoes and your socks.
Yep.
Because when your feet get cold and wet, there is nothing worse than cold, wet feet. And if he didn't even have a jacket, hopefully he bought a synthetic jacket so at least it would dry out a little bit, not get saturated, which at TJ Maxx, I'm sure they ain't selling no goddamn down there. That's crazy. Hey.
Yeah, and so I'm sorry, I'm texting.
Y'all are going up to text. Y'all are going text. Shit. I'm taking your words out of your mouth. Y'all are going up to camp at this point, right? Y'all have already camped with it raining. So all your shit's already wet.
Correct. All of our shit's already wet. So, and we're hiking, and you know, we break off in two groups of 3 and 3. And I can just tell that once people, I'm me, I'm the type of person that just keeps talking to try to get people, and people weren't responding. And I was like, okay, the demeanor is not good right now because the snow's coming down. It was cool within the first hour. And then people are starting getting pissed because, for example, if you don't have fucking gloves, what's the first thing you should grab out of your pack to put on your hands? Wool socks, any type of socks, something. Put socks on, put your hands in your pockets. So we're hiking, and we get to a point, and we're so fucking cold, and we want to get to our campsite. We stop by a lake and decide not to fill up our water because we just want to get to the campsite. And I'm shivering at this point because I start out in shorts and shirt. I change everything.
Skinny bitches be shivering before us fat folk.
And I get to moving, and I start leading the whole pack because I get the mindset of these fuckers, and there's some of my best friends. Someone's got to take the role, and someone's got to just go. And so we're going, and I'm like, man, this snow's coming down, and it's coming down hard. And our eventual goal was to get to this lake, and I kind of reevaluated and said, we need to take as much cover as we can because half these guys don't have gloves. They're not prepared. They're not as in good. I mean, I'm not a elite athlete, but I'm in pretty good shape, and I know how hard I can go.
All right, quick question. All right, so we got the first day we got rain, so your shit's already wet.
First day was 6 miles and was sunny. Second day got rained at the end.
Okay, second day, semantics. All right, so but regardless, you're hiking in the snow at this point. People shit's wet from the rain the day before. We got people that are not clothed properly.
Correct.
Do we at least have sleeping bags, sleeping attire, and tents to at least be able to handle a hard Wyoming snow? Look,
yes and
you keep talking about clothing, right?
Yes and no.
There's one thing about the clothing. we can deal with the clothing. We can build a fire. We can put a tarp up. We can dry some shit out. But Bo, when it's time to go to fuck to sleep, do you have a tent that's gonna not drip water on you all night? Do you have a sleeping bag? Like, do you have some shit that's gonna help you stay warm?
You lead me to my next point.
Okay.
So
I gotta pee, so keep talking. It's gonna be about 35 to 45 seconds.
Okay. So we were at this point we were hiking and it was whiteout snow. And my friends weren't responding to me, which I knew that meant that they were pissed off and angry at the situation we were in. So I found this area that had 3, 4, 5 big pine trees in a circle. That was like the perfect camping spot. And I said, it was 3 o'clock. I said, hey guys, this is it. I don't give a shit about the lake. It's about a mile away. We need to camp right now and we need to get warm because myself was freezing fucking cold and I couldn't get my gloves on and everything like that. So we stop. We start setting up camp. While we're setting up camp, snow from the trees is just dumping down on us. It's probably 30, 40 mile an hour winds and snow. And we're trying to set up our tents and everything. And everyone's shivering. We set up our tents right next to each other. And at this point, we probably have maybe 2 inches of snow. And so we all get in our tents. I put on as many layers of socks and clothes from my pack that I can and get in my sleeping bag. And it took me legitimately 4 to 5 hours to stop shivering. Like it was kind of scary, to be honest with you. So, and this is at 3 p.m. We got in our tents. Everyone got in their tents and communicated to try to keep warm. Throughout the whole time we're sitting in our tents, we could just hear the wind howling, the snow ripping, and the snow was falling off the pine trees and just dumping onto our tent. So you just hear like kaboosh, 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 to where we got up about 8 o'clock and tried to eat dinner in our tents, which just someone had a bear canister and we walked our bear canisters over to the spot. And at the time, at like 7 or 8, we walked our bear canisters over the spot. We could see the trail and everything was good. Well, when we got done eating, it was time to go to bed. The same thing happened. All you could hear was wind, rain, snow, kept up all night. No one could freaking sleep because they were worried. I wake up 8, 9 o'clock, just lay there, if you have to lay in a fucking tent from 3 p.m. until 10 a.m. the next day, your back's killing you. You're just mentally, you're fucking crushed.
What sleeping pad did you have?
Oh, I can't remember what one I have. It's about 100. It's a blow up one. I have a nice one.
What was
just
the R value?
Oh, okay. You guys were talking about pillows the other day. 100 fucking % correct. When your pillows slip off the goddamn pad and air mattress, it is
terrible.
It's the worst fucking thing ever.
Why hammock camp? Pillow's always under your hand.
Yeah, I can't remember what one I have, but it's a good one. And here's the thing is, you guys are right on. If you have a 20-degree fucking bag, it's good for 30 degrees. It's good for 35.
That depends. If you go to Walmart and you buy a Coleman bag that's rated for 20 degrees, that's a survival. That's typically a survival rating. That means that bag will keep you warm enough to be alive, to call for help within a few hours. But if you go and you get hold on a sec. Okay. Thank you. My daughter had to tell me my son clogged the toilet. But if you buy a good sleeping bag, REI, comment, there's, I don't know, I ain't gonna name all the brands. But there are, you got to understand, if you're going somewhere and you're going to be where it's 32 degrees, you got to have the right bag that's rated for that. But there's a lot that goes into that. But there's a survival rating, and then there's a comfort rating. The cheaper the sleeping bag, it's a survival rating. John, let me ask you something. You started this podcast off by saying that you were a hiking, camping guy,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like y'all were very ill prepared.
I was prepared.
So you were comfortable.
I'm always prepared.
Okay. All right.
Because I've done the thing is,
But-
I've been in shitty situations. The two new people that were with us were not prepared.
But why?
And
But hold up. As being the guy that's prepared and knows what you potentially are getting into, why did you not instruct them? Or maybe
We
you
did.
did.
We did.
Okay.
We
So
just
you
said, hey,
instructed-
we
But-
said, hey, here's what you need to bring. They did not bring that. And and they did not prepare for the amount of hiking that they did some hikes around their local area,
but not
but they didn't.
8,000,
not
an
an
8,000
elevation.
foot elevation. And
Yeah,
shit.
they
Okay.
didn't do hills. They didn't train their lungs.
Right.
correctly.
Okay. So that's one thing to be physically fit to do that.
Yeah.
But did they not have the right equipment because they didn't believe y'all, or did y'all not, or did they not?
They
want
didn't
to pay
believe
for
it.
the correct equipment.
They didn't
Because-
believe and thought they could cheap on. They thought they could cheap
Okay.
out on it.
Because here's the thing: so we're going camping. Carter and I are going camping this weekend.
Yeah.
Saturday night's supposed to be 35 degrees.
Sure.
North Carolina, 35 degrees in North Carolina. That's fucking cold. It is a wet, humid 35 degrees. That shit
It's
chills
cold
you
everywhere,
to the
son.
bones. It's cold. So, like, I know what he needs to have to be comfortable in his tent. I know what I need to have to be comfortable. Like, but that shit is expensive. You just can't go get a 0-degree bag from Walmart and expect to be comfortable with that. Like, you've got to have it. Most people are in a tent. You got to have a damn sleeping pad that has an R value. You got to have not only the sleeping bag at 0 degrees. You got to have a fleece jacket or a down jacket, a hoodie. Your tent makes a big difference too, because if you don't have ventilation, which you don't in a lot of cheap tents, every time you breathe out, all that water is going and sticking to the top of your tent. If you got a single wall tent, all that shit's going to drop back down at some point. Like, there's a lot that goes into it.
So
And it sounds like y'all tried to get your people to understand what they needed to have, but it also sounds like this is a once in every 2 or 4 or 6 year event. And they're like, I'm not paying fucking $150 for a sleeping bag, or I'm not paying $200 for a tent. They just got the shit that they wanted to go out in their backyard with and camp, and it kind of fucked it up for the rest of you.
Kinda. Hold on a second. I'm messaging. Miss Fisher wanted to make sure that everything was good on the podcast.
Send her my number. I'm the one that damn calls that call. It's not you. Alex ain't here. I'm in charge. I told you when you texted me earlier, don't tell me what to do.
So here's the thing is, so we were at our campsite and we were above the trees and the wind was blowing and it was snowing. And the snow would come off the trees and hit our tent. And it was just like a boof, boof. And then you'd see we were in a 3-person tent, which is basically a 2-person tent. And the snow was building up on the sides and you could see it. So when the snow's building up on the sides, like, you don't have room at all. And, it's my best friend. And I'm just like, and so we start talking that next morning. We're like, what do we do? Because I had went out to go get our bear canister and you couldn't see the trail. The trail was gone because it snowed 8 inches. All you could see were 45-degree plants where the trail was, because there's not like trail markers. when you're in the middle of the Tetons in the Continental Divide. And we were talking about staying another day, but to reiterate back around, since we skipped that water thing, none of us had water. We had like a couple
You had
bags
8 inches of snow.
Yeah, but when you take 8 inches of snow, when you melt it down, it's very minimal
You get
water.
an ounce of water. I understand, but you still have water. You like if
Sure,
everybody gets their shit together.
But here's the thing: is would it make sense to spend all that energy on the fuel to burn that water to burn the snow to get that mineral water, or to use that fuel for fires or other things like that? So that was a conundrum.
It
That was a conundrum.
It sounds like that a couple of y'all were prepared, but the majority of the group were not.
Yeah.
And so that means that the couple had to carry the rest of the people.
You
and y'all
100%
weren't prepared.
1,000%.
Y'all weren't prepared to be able to do
1,000%
to do
so
that.
1,000%. So we're sitting in the campsite looking at, here's our routes. We have one route that says go back the way you came. It's 17 miles back to like the campsite. You're going to go downhill, so you'll go through snow, but you can't see the trail. Sure, we could do that. Definitely could have done that. You also have another campsite or you have another thing where you go 18 miles, which we could have done, but it went through Hurricane Pass, which was 1,000 more feet in elevation gain with that snow. And then we would have came back down, and then we would have had to hitchhike to where our vehicle was. Could have done that. Or there was option 3. We get to the lake, we go 8 miles down to Idaho, which is on the complete opposite side of the park.
Whole different state.
And we fucking figure it out from there. I've never been to Idaho. What's up, Koopy? And so that morning we wake up, trail's gone. We're debating shit. I put my foot down. I said, settle up, bitches. We're gone. We're going to figure out. I'm not dying on this fucking mountain. I was like, I got too much shit going on. We're figuring out. And I was
some
willing.
MPFL trophies, bitches. Y'all got to
I'm in enough good shape. I could have done either option. So I start the, hey, hold on a second. My dog wants out.
Hey, look, here's the deal. Here's the deal. This is I'm gonna summarize this trip for John.
No, I'm at the point. Let me finish this. I'm at the point to where I lead this group, and I do the first mile and a half, and it's in 8 inches of snow, and I can't see the trail, and I'm using my eyes to figure out where the trail is with rocks.
Where you go? What trail? What path?
It was it's a part of the Continental Divide in the Tetons.
So what destination did you choose? Are you going downhill, uphill, or are you going the 8 mile trip?
Let me fucking finish. So I do this a mile and a half in the trail, and I'm just blazing, and it takes me, I don't know, 30 minutes or something, and I'm sweating my ass off. And there's another party ahead of us, some kids that we had passed. And I stopped and talked to them. I was like, hey, here's our options. What do you think? And some of them had a lot of mountaineering skills, and we didn't have any mountaineering gear with us. So they're like, here's what we're not going to do because we don't have the proper equipment. And what they said that they were not going to do was what we were going to do.
Oh.
And I just go, okay, that's good. I just go, motherfuckers, let's go to Potato Town. We're going to Idaho.
We're going to Idaho, baby. Let's get some taters.
And we started going down, and this is where it gets good. We started going downhill. And once we started going downhill, the snow started to dissipate. And once the snow started to dissipate, morale in the whole group just started improving. You're like, oh shit. Well, here's the thing is, because we didn't have any water, I legitimately just took everyone's glasses and put them in a creek and drank out of them without filtering.
Ugh.
Because we were so high up. And I tell you what, that was some of the best motherfucking water I've ever tasted in my life. Didn't shit my pants or anything like that.
You're lucky you didn't get giardia from elk
I know.
and moose
So
shitting in the creek.
we get down to the campsite in Idaho, and there's all these people working, cutting down trees. And I'm like, fantastic. We can get a ride. We can figure shit out. So I see this female, and I'm just like, hey, here's our situation. We're in a bad situation. Our car's all the way across the other side of the park. What do we do?
In
And
another state.
She goes, you just need to hitchhike into town. And I go, excuse me? She goes, yeah, you just need to figure it out. And I was like, fuck.
Did you start
like,
showing some of those big ass thighs? You got good looking thighs too. I've seen some of your running pictures.
Well, long story short is we're fucked. And I'm just like, I'm going to have to hike 5 miles into town. And I stop at the bathroom and I'm going, and I see this RV go in front of us. And I say to my buddy, I was like, dude, we need to catch a ride with an RV or something. And I go to the bathroom and I'm in there just trying to shit for the first time in, I don't know, 3 days. And there's just a beating on the door, just says, hey, we got to go right now. An RV is going to give us a ride. And I just go, I'm halfway through shit. And I got gloves on. So I'm trying to wipe my ass with gloves. Toilet paper's all over the fucking gloves of my hand, just sticking. I'm rocking out.
Where's the GoPro, dude?
And we come out and there's this RV and it's probably this couple in their 70s. And they're just like, we'll give you a ride. And I had on these Sims fishing gloves that were super tight and I couldn't get them off. So in front of this couple, I'm just taking a knife, just cutting these gloves off because I just couldn't stand it anymore. And we're in the RV with this couple who's taking us into a town called Driggs, Idaho. And I'd actually texted Brandon Polnick. I was like, if you can see this, I need help as soon as, and he was out in the woods hunting, so he didn't respond. And so we're with this couple riding, and they asked me, they're like, where are you from? I said, oh, I live in Louisville, Kentucky. And both of them turn around at me while they're driving, and their eyes get super big when I say Louisville, Kentucky. I was like, what's wrong? They're like, well, I'm a dentist, and both of our sons went to Louisville for dental school. And I said, you're fucking kidding me. They're like, no. So they were very familiar with where I lived and everything like that. They drove us into town.
Go Germantown.
They drove us into town, and we got into town, which was great. I go on the hotel things, and because Driggs is a city that's $1 million city, right? It's where all the Idaho state reps live, and either you make $1 million, you make $20,000. And I look in all the Airbnbs and hotels, and everything's busy, and I'm like, oh, we're fucked. And I do Airbnb again, and I see this place that can't be real because we needed 3 beds for 6 people. And I found this place for $120. And I was like, this isn't right. And I call them. I was like, hey, I see this. Is this right? They're like, oh, yeah. It's this German house in fucking Driggs, Idaho, that this room has 3 beds and is only $120 a night. And I call them. We pull up there. This lady hands me her.
Brian Koberger is your host. No,
this lady is like super sweet to me. She goes, give me all your dirty laundry. I'll wash it. She washed all of our clothes. She gave us the keys to her daughter's Subaru, never meeting us. Let us drive around town doing all this shit, and took care of us for $120 a night for 6 people.
Hey,
and then we had to take the bus back into Jackson. So we were on the bus with all these workers that went back into Jackson, and then had to take an Uber back to our car. And it was the most convoluted.
All right. So John, the the people listening to this podcast are probably not hiking in, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. They're probably not at 8,000 feet. They're probably people that are in the Georgia mountains, North Carolina mountains, East Tennessee, West Virginia, shit like that. Give us if I'm gonna have a little hiking weekend with my buddies, what
Mhm.
what three things did you learn that relate to our listeners
Okay.
about doing a mountain hike, a East Coast mountain hike, West Virginia, North Carolina, East Tennessee, North Georgia. Leave it at that.
Okay. So there's a few tips.
We're going a group of friends. What are the three things that you learned that we, as listeners of Bass and Brews, can tell our friends when we go on this trip? Because
All right.
we're not getting 8 inches of snow. We're not getting some bullshit like that. You make it relatable to who's listening.
The first thing you do is when you plan a trip is you designate, all right, this dude's in charge of fire, so this dude's going to bring the fire starters. As soon as you set up camp, that's the dude that's also going to be finding twigs, finding things like that. So you set roles. Then you make sure that also each people bring enough food for themselves. And when I say food, Kroger and everything has enough dry packets food. The easiest thing, and this is something you guys didn't cover on, which I didn't get pissed about, but when I hike, I usually have to do bear canisters because bears are present.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest thing to do with bear canisters are tortilla shells because tortilla shells fold up. They come into any pack. You don't need bread. You could smash tortilla shells up and they're good to go. Refried beans that come in the microwavable packets. You can put those. You can slather those on those tortilla shells. You can also get meats that are in the same microwavable packets. Everything now, you don't need to add water to anything anymore. Beef jerky, salami, things like that is all good and safe that you could stick in your packets to where you don't need to. You should prepare. You should prepare and plan to where you have meals that you don't need to heat. And that is one of the number one things in case you can't get a fire, have meals that you don't need to eat.
But if you're hiking, if you're going to do this, somebody should have some isobutane.
Oh, always. Yeah, always. We had it.
So
we had it.
So I agree with what you're saying with having the beef jerky, the dried meats, especially. Yeah. You need the protein, you need the fat. But this is where I'll come at you and say that if you like having those dehydrated or freeze-dried meals, Mountain House is the one that most people will be able to see. Like they are packed with calories, and they're packed with a lot of sodium. And so if you are doing a lot of hiking with that stuff, and if you at least have isobutane burner, just a little cheap burner from Amazon, you can get one for $20 or whatever. I would say that like having those dehydrated or freeze-dried meals, whatever they are, Mountain House or Alpine, whatever they are, like those are filled with calories, and calories are heat with that. I get what you're saying.
They just take up space. Those mountain things take up a lot of space.
They sure they do, but they also, what's the space that they take up to the calorie content? Because you need the calories, you need the heat. I mean, the whole thing is this. You have got to be prepared for the situation you're going into. And it sounds like that a couple of y'all were prepared for going hiking through the fucking Tetons, and the majority of your group weren't. But if you're, I'm taking I'm taking one dehydrated meal and a couple freeze dried meals. Probably won't eat them, but I'm taking them out there.
Sure.
Maybe I do.
Yeah.
But I've
They're-
got dehydrated meals that I'm taking out this weekend that I want to try because they were over dehydrated, if that's a term.
I just think I think they
So-
taste like shit. That's my thing. I just think they taste like shit.
But sometimes but taste, there's one thing. If you're going out fucking around, taste is one thing. We're cooking for 2 nights, we're cooking hot dogs, and then the next night we're cooking smoked sausages on the fire.
Yeah, smoked sausage. Bring tortillas, smoked sausage, tortillas, cheese. Boom. That's all you need.
Right, exactly. But we're not going hiking up in 8,000 elevation in the fucking Tetons. Like we got to get shit different. When I go camping,
I do the same thing though. It's the same shit. I don't need the stuff.
Look, we're going camping. If shit don't go right Saturday night at 5:30 because it gets dark early as fuck. If shit don't go right, which it will, but if it doesn't, we're going right down the road and we're getting some refuel sandwiches, hot sandwiches, refuel fried chicken. There's a Hardee's right there. We're getting some Hardee's burgers and shit. But you got to prepare, man. Not only you got to have your people prepare. It's the calorie content. You got to have your shit together.
And that was it wasn't my problem because I wasn't in charge of those people. But like, it was one of those things. Like,
ended up being in charge of those people.
I did, but I knew I could go the long way. But then once I did the 1.5 miles in the snow, I knew that the people behind me couldn't do what I did. And I was also fucking exhausted after doing it. And I could have made the 18 miles in that. But I knew that the group behind me couldn't do that because of the previous experience in cardiovascular shit I've done in my life. Like, I knew I could do it, but I knew the people behind me would fucking die.
All right. So let's take the average listener for Bass and Brews who are going out on a
overweight, out of shape, ugly.
Yes, exactly. All of that shit, 100%.
Yeah, I'm listening.
We want to go camp.
Yep.
We want to go sit beside a fire and have a good time. We don't have to worry about trudging 18 miles.
Yep.
We don't have to worry about any of that shit. We want to go have a good time.
Yep.
What are the 3 most essential things that we need to make sure that we pack and our group packs? And again, this isn't what y'all did. This whole story you just told. We're going to Jordan Lake. We're going to a state campground in North Carolina, Georgia, East Tennessee. What are the 3 things that we need to bring so that we are comfortable and have a good time?
First off, cold weather gear or weather-related gear if it's going to be raining. Number 1.
So look at the weather and make sure you have a fucking jacket and you have a sleeping bag that you can that's going to keep you comfortable.
Yep.
What else?
You want a sleeping bag that's going to, like, if it's 40 degrees, you want your sleeping bag to be at least 30. As you guys talked on that last episode. If not, layer yourself fucking down. Wear a goddamn beanie and things like that, because that's your heat relieves your head. Also, you guys talked about earlier from your last one, having that layer in between the tent and the ground is huge, because a lot of the sleeping pad, anything, because the coldness will escape your body or enter your body from that in regards.
Hey, have you ever like slept or camped in a hammock, or have all you done has been like tent camping?
Tent, always tent. Always tend to sleep in my truck. I do a ton of truck camping when I'm fishing.
Oh, truck camping is a whole different thing because you can get a Mr. Buddy heater and put that in your
No,
truck.
I don't do that shit.
Well,
I
you
have a
can.
mattress in the back
You
of my
can.
truck. Yeah.
Yeah, mattress, anything like that in the truck, you're going to retain heat because you got the camper shell or you're in the back seat, whatever you have set up. But being able to, I will say this about hammock camping because I only sleep in a hammock. I hate tent camping. I hate sleeping on those pads.
Really? You think I would hate it after I used to be like my mom used to bang dudes in the tent next to me growing up as a kid.
Interesting.
I was sleeping next to him.
She hot?
My mom? No.
Yeah. Send me a picture. Anyway, the thing with tent camping that I hate with those pads is I'm more of a side sleeper. And so my damn hip ends up digging in. You were talking about how old you were earlier. I'm about to be 43.
I'm 42.
Gotta have, huh?
I'm 42.
Yeah, I'm about to be 43 in December. So that's what I'm saying. I got to have a pillow that goes between my legs. I got to have a pillow that I can spoon with. I can hug. I got to have a pillow under my head. Like when you're sleeping in a tent on a pad, none of that shit stays where it's supposed to stay. But when I'm in a hammock, all that shit stays. But here's the thing with a hammock. You got to have an underquilt because
you were talking. I don't know what's an underquilt. You guys were talking about. I don't know what it is.
Right. So let me preface it with this.
Oh, by the way, this weed is amazing.
Good job. This is not weed, it's tobacco. When you go, when you're in the South, and I'm saying this in the South because everybody else knows this outside of this, you see signs, bridge freezes before the road. And so when you're in a hammock, all that air coming underneath you is cold. So you have to have an underquilt. You have to have a quilt underneath the hammock, not underneath you, but underneath the hammock. And so that helps keep you warm. So you just buy, a bullshit hammock off of
not Eno.
Amazon.
You guys hate on Enos. You hate Enos.
Enos are lounging hammocks. They're not. No.
I kind of figured they're from Asheville, North Carolina, and every time I've been around
Eno hammocks are great for the summer. They're great for lounging around. But if you're going to go out, like I'm going out this weekend, it's going to be low 40s, 35 degrees. I've got a hammock. Mine's a Superior Gear hammock. It has a quilt built into the underneath, which is 45 degrees. So it's rated to 45 degrees comfortability. And then I have, the shit that I wear. And then I have a top quilt that goes on. But I don't know. It's something you have to experience because I do not sleep. I don't sleep good camping, period. But if you put me in a tent,
terrible.
If you put me in a tent on a blow-up pad of any type or a closed foam pad, which are the ones that accordion pads that look like waffles, that shit doesn't, like, I'm not comfortable.
That's
but
what I have.
In the hammock, I can hang that hammock to where I'm comfortable. And it's great sleeps. It really is. I'm excited this weekend to see how good I sleep in my hammock, being 27 pounds down, because it's tough. It's tough.
Hey,
where are your other guests?
So I'm texting with them right now. One of my guests didn't respond, so we're gonna call him out if he doesn't respond. One of them was Cooper Gallant, and if he doesn't respond and come on, he's a little bitch. The other guy's going to come on here in a second, but before he comes on, we had talked about fishing movies that we wanted to talk about.
Oh, all right. Let me preface
I've done my research.
Top 3 fishing movies of all time. Start. Your top 3.
So
we don't need a lot of explanation, John, because if you got a guest coming on, we
he's supposed to. I don't know when it's going to happen. So in no particular order.
Okay.
In no particular order. Grumpy Old Men.
Yes. Okay.
Big Fish.
Not fishing, but I get it.
Oh no, there's fishing in it. They catch the big catfish at the end. That's fishing in it.
True.
Because to be honest, I did my research today. There's not very many fishing movies, so you have to take
exactly. There ain't no goddamn bass fishing movies because you know why? Bass fishing is fucking boring and it sucks. Yeah. But go ahead. So you've named two.
The third, and is one of my favorite movies of all time. Is I'm pretty sure it's called "The River Runs Through It" with Kevin Bacon and Susan Sarandon.
Maybe, but Kevin Bacon was in it, but also good friend
John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly was in it, but I'm pretty sure that what's his name?
No, sorry. River Runs Through It is with Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Was it John Lithgow? Not John Lithgow. Who was the dad in A River Runs
Through It?
Oh,
sorry. I take it back. I'm thinking The River Wild, which is about. It has Meryl Streep. Has Kevin Bacon, John C. Reilly, David Strathairn in it. Yeah, I was wrong. River Wild, which is one of my top favorite movies ever.
Okay, so my top three, and I'm going to put, again, no particular order, but fishing movies. My top three, I'm putting Grumpy Old Men and Grumpier Old Men.
I didn't say it, but yeah, that
same
counts.
pool. Yep, you can't beat that. A River Runs Through It with Brad Pitt is probably number one in anybody's. That was a good movie. It had a lot of fishing, had a lot of stuff to go into it.
Yeah.
And then my third is going to be, hold on. I'm having a brain fart right now. I got to go back and look at my goddamn history on what I watched.
This was Bait Shop. Bait Shop sucks. Oh,
Danny DeVito.
That's Gone Fishing.
Gone Fishing. Not a lot of fishing in that, but that was a quintessential 90s movie of like just a good story. The movie sucked, to be honest.
Okay.
But it was a good time. But I would say most people are going to say their number one fishing movie is going to be A River Runs Through Brad Pitt. Because that like there was a lot of fishing in there. I mean, it was trout fishing or whatever it is. I think they were in Montana or somewhere like that because it's a fly fishing movie. But that should tell you something about the state of bass fishing. That there's not a true bass fishing movie out there because bass fishing fucking sucks.
Why should there be? I mean, we had Kristine Fischer on who was with Russ Snyder's that were just muskie fishing. And the person I was going to have on, Coop Gallant, who I should almost just call to be a bitch, he's doing multi-species stuff right now. He was actually with Scott, what's his name? Scott Martin? Yeah. And
down in Florida?
No, they're at Texas at Ray Roberts, the classic location. They're scouting. So whatever.
Hey, here's the thing. This sums up a lot of what I say on this podcast. I love bass fishing.
Sure.
I do not watch any elites, MLF, MPFL.
I watch elites.
I watch it if it's going to be on a lake that I'm fishing that year, or I might fish in the future. I'm in North Carolina, so pretty much only lakes we get are Norman, Murray, Santee, and then with MLF every 4 or 5 years or so, they come down here to Jordan Falls and Harris. Like, that's the thing about bass fishing that kills me, is that it's boring. And
bass fishing is terribly boring.
Yeah. It's boring for the motherfuckers fishing it. What do you think it's like for the people watching it? It's crazy,
it's
man.
terrible. So I'm texting our last guest. If he doesn't come on in 15 minutes, we're shutting this shit down.
We are shutting this shit down because we have been going for an hour and 25 minutes. We had Kristine Fischer on Bass and Brews.
I thought that would excite you because there would time would.
Look, I couldn't say this when she was on because you said we couldn't.
She looks fantastic, by the way.
Oh my gosh, you look gorgeous. I mean, that's the thing is Kristine Fischer, when you see her on YouTube or any social media, she's got in a ponytail, messy hair, out there fishing.
Still sexy.
She probably hasn't, showered in a couple days.
I was going to ask her this. What is the longest you went for showering?
Well, that would be a great question if she was still here, but you're asking
How about
me
you?
now. So I'll be honest, because I'm always honest on Bass and Brews. I shower 1 to 2 times a week. I put on deodorant every day. But I shower 1-2 times a week. Hey, John, you look like a fucking pirate over there because you got the wrong side of your face looking at the camera. I see you missing a tooth. He's literally missing a tooth for the people listening and not watching.
I am.
But no, man, hey, look, bass fishing.
What did you tell me? You don't shower every day?
Fuck no, I don't shower every day. Look, motherfucker, if you saw my feet, I'm not going to pull them up. I pull them up on this podcast a bunch. I'm not going to do it now because Alex sitting here to be grossed out. But I'm bare with my job. I have to wear closed-toe shoes. When I get home, my shoes go out. I'm barefoot. But matter of fact, this weekend we go camping. I have quote unquote barefoot sandals. And so they're very thin sandals that I wear. Like, I hate shoes. I hate wearing that shit. I am barefoot all the time. The showering part, like, if I stink, I'm a shower. But
sure.
It's we as humans shower. We clean ourselves too much.
Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this. How many times has the old lady said, "Why don't you shower first?" Then
shit. If I ever hear, "Hey, are you showering tonight?" my ass is going to take a shower right away because I know what's about to happen. And that shit don't happen often with 2 kids and being in your early 40s. So I go take a fucking shower and I wash my ass like nobody's business. I got a damn loofah over there and I'm scrubbing shit that I ain't scrubbed in a couple days. Like my skin when I get
got a fucking angle grinder on your ass cheeks, just
but shit. Dude. My underarm. Look, that loofah, my loofah is like 4 times the size it's supposed to be because when it's time to wash with a loofah, I'm scrubbing everything. I'm scrubbing all the skin off.
Dude, I talked with a old boy of mine today, and he was bitching about shit and talking about his old lady. He's like, I probably haven't had sex in 7 years. And I was just like, God. I was like, that ain't normal, bro.
He got to shower more often than once every 6 months.
I was like, that's not how it should be. I was like,
well, hey, here on Bass and Brews, we always bring you the most riveting conversations that we can. And tonight we had Kristine Fischer on, one of the best kayak anglers out there. We had John King, aka Drunkwood.
Don't forget about Russ Snyder's. Don't shit on Russ.
Let me finish. I can't. I'm not going to leave Russ out. Russ broke the Bass and Brews curse all by himself. I remember last year, year and a half ago, we had a good buddy on, and John texted me after he heard the episode because a good buddy had a bad tournament, and he was in a position to make MLF. He had a really bad tournament. And John goes, "Great job having him on your podcast. He did shitty."
Who was that?
You don't remember who that was?
No. Who was it?
I can't remember because I don't drink too much.
You can just tell me. I don't care. I mean,
I can't remember, motherfucker. I
Who
just
was
said I
it?
can't remember. I would
for
remember.
MLF.
It was God damn. See, this podcast going off the rails, and Alex ain't here to bring us back in. Shit. God damn. Hold on.
Oh shit,
Hey.
Steve. Sorry, I'm looking who's on Bass and Brews. Steve Barton's on. Who else is on? I can't tell.
Hold on, I'm looking. I can't
Oh,
remember.
Mike Iaconelli.
No. If Mike Iaconelli was on this show, I would
Iaconelli's
quit.
on Bass and Brews.
No, he wasn't. Jimmy.
Oh, sorry, Bass
Washam.
After Dark.
Jimmy Washam.
Bass After Dark.
Jimmy Washam. You remember Jimmy Washam was on?
Yeah, Jimmy Washam. Yeah,
And he was fishing. They had a tournament or something. He was doing, he had a good year. But anyway, he did.
Yeah, he
but
sucked
Russ
since you guys- he
Snyder's
was on
back
yours.
to bringing Russ and Kristine to the
Yeah.
forefront. Russ Snyder's broke the curse when he came on because last year when he came on, he won Angler of the Year, won some tournaments. I mean, he's been crushing it. And then after that, we've had some local guys on that crushed it. Will Big Inches Lambert has absolutely dominated
He's
the
doing well.
local trails here where we are in North Carolina. I've won a tournament or two, and I'm on this shitty ass podcast every week. I mean, it's great, but you know, that's how it goes sometimes, how it goes. But look, hey, I will say this. The guest roulette for Bass and Brews tonight did not disappoint.
But we only got one. We only got one.
The roulette wheel only spun one time. But shit, we hit the lottery.
And
We did good. I mean, if people, hopefully people quit listening to this shit after 45 minutes.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
Because if they did, we're golden. If they continued to listen, they learned a few things. Don't go camping with Drunkwood unless you listen to Drunkwood to prepare. And two, if you're going to go camping, you better have your shit together.
Yep.
Hey,
you absolutely should.
Drunkwood.
Yep.
Mary fuck
Hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
We may have someone jumping on.
Oh, gee. For how long?
I just got a text that said, okay, jumping on.
Oh, shit. All right. My mouse is at the ready.
Give it about 2 to 3 more minutes. All right. So here's the thing.
All right. No, stop. Marry, fuck, kill. All right. Marry, fuck, kill. Thanksgiving. Fried turkey. Baked turkey. Or. Oh, what the fuck do you have besides fried or baked turkey? Fried turkey, baked turkey, or smoked turkey? Marry, fuck, kill.
I'd fuck fried turkey.
Mm.
I'd marry smoked turkey. And I would kill
that baked turkey.
And
the baked turkey takes too long, and the shit it just ain't as good as the other two options.
Yeah,
ever.
And that's what, when I asked Kristine, like, condiment, she's like, ribeye. I was like, ribeye is not a motherfucking condiment.
Look, you done found somebody that's a baller when their fucking side is a ribeye.
And she wants that shit blue. She wants that shit rare to blue.
Raw.
And you're like,
she wants that shit raw.
Raw. That girl like it raw, dog. So-
Raw. How you like your steak? Raw.
Raw.
Give me some
Let me see.
sushi steak.
And my thing is, when you're a kid and you're Thanksgiving, you just have to fucking deal with what they give you.
That's
And
right.
my grandma used to make this chocolate fucking mousse pie at Thanksgiving, which was phenomenal. And she'd make me an extra, and I'd fucking eat that shit for breakfast. And seeing if he's on right now, he just put silence notified, so he may be jumping on real quick. Stuffing is one of the most underrated things about Thanksgiving. And also
true stuffing.
True
That's
stuffing.
the thing.
Now, did you ever go out? Now, granted,
Hold
we're
on.
old.
We got somebody in the background.
All right.
We're gonna bring this person on. I have no idea who they are. Their name is Juice.
Do you know who Juice is?
I do now.
What's up, Juice?
What's up, guys?
Oh shit, we cracking beer. What you cracking?
So I've got a Tulsa beer called. It's a pale ale from Cabin Boys. So it's called Outfitters Pale Ale. So
how many alcohols it got in it?
Let's see, 6%.
There we
So,
go. We can
I'm a
roll
real
with
beer
that.
guy.
Hey, I'm Paul.
I'm Jarrett. Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Juice.
meet you, Jarrett.
So, Juice, Paul doesn't know who you are. So, Juice is one of Pangrac's best friends that went to college together. And if you've ever paid attention to what's going on in the industry right now, Juice makes these little things called Juice's jigs. So he ties hair jigs for crappie and bass and everything. And he's got more DMs right now than Kristine Fischer from dudes wanting his shit. So Kristine Fischer was on earlier.
If that's
Christine
true, that's
was on
pretty
earlier,
amazing.
So, yeah. So how many dudes are in your DMs right now, Juice?
Oh, I've had probably in the last 2 weeks, probably close to 100 to 125. So
is that for crappie fishing?
no, it's for bass fishing.
So you're tying hair jigs?
Yeah, they're called hair Mickeys. So
Okay.
it's a bass. It's something that I designed for the Mickey style fishing, except instead of a minnow, it's a hair jig that that just moves and flows in the water. So really well.
Does that work? Is that a wintertime bait, or is that something that people can
Every
fish
time, baby.
anytime?
Year round.
Year round. And so Juice has become so popular, and he's been working with Lucky Lure Tackle that he has to do drops. So he can't just he can't do an online thing that says, I'm going to make XYZ of these. So he has to do these fucking drops because everyone wants his shit. Basically, if you have 100 dudes in your DMs, I mean, and I've seen you, you're not the most physically, you ain't got great tits. So,
look, don't let John talk to you like that. Look at John. The only redeeming quality for Drunkwood are his thighs. Everything else after that, he looks like an old man.
He's got runner's legs, man.
Cane. Yeah, exactly.
But the thing is, this guy just started tying hair, and his buddies with Pangrac. So he deals with Pangrac's fucking weird Pangrac shit. And
100%.
100%. Pangrac probably hasn't responded to my text in 10 days, and then sends me a text with you watching this MLF shit? If they knew how to minnow, I'm like, no, I'm not paying attention to any of this shit, man.
Hey, where you out of, Juice? Where are you from?
Well, I grew up on a ranch in Chelsea, Oklahoma, but I currently live in Edmond, Oklahoma, which is just north of OKC. So
hey,
I'm sending something to Edmond, Oklahoma this week.
Okay, cool.
Oh, good. Yep. It's a wood dildo. Hey, I'll tell you my Oklahoma story.
Okay.
Is I was a wildland firefighter. Everybody drink. I was a wildland firefighter, and I spent like 3 weeks in the Osage Nation.
Yeah.
Fighting wildfires. We parked our shit in Tulsa, and then I was a dozer operator, had our dozer up in Osage Nation. Oh my God, we got a ghost in the background.
Yeah, so
But,
I've got a couple of guys here that I'm training to tie, and so
are they at your house?
Yeah, I'm in my boat garage in the shop.
No,
so
he's in his 4,000 square foot shop, John. What's wrong with you? Hey,
unfortunately not.
Talk about your jigs. So forward facing type jigs, are they tungsten? What like?
Yeah.
What's the weight on them?
So anything. So I have my own tungsten jig line. That's also sold at Lucky Lure Tackle, just bare jig heads for just regular style fishing with tungsten. So that's what I exclusively tie on is like resin, tungsten, and anything from an eighth, a 16th, all the way up to a half ounce in tungsten.
And is that what makes them really good for forward facing sonar? Talk to us like we have no idea about forward facing sonar and about seeing shit. Like, is tungsten show up better?
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Like, you get better return off of the tungsten is more dense than lead. So, for one thing, you get precision. Like when you cast, it's more dense, so it sinks faster. So you can get on the fish quicker, if that makes sense. You're having more precise drops on fish, and with that. So like that's kind of like, I am a bass guy by heart, but since live scope, and I kind of got out of the fishing tournament world since 17. Like I got into crappie fishing when live scope with me and Pangrac started doing that in like 2018 when it was kind of a big secret. And so, and I basically, came up with, just from my experience being a bass guy and always wanting to dial in my tackle, and make, in crappie fishing, like dudes want to pay 75 cents for it doesn't, they'll throw a tennis shoe at something, they don't.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, why hair? What kind of hair are you using, and why the hair versus just having?
You can't tell it all though.
He can't tell it all, but he can give us a high look, dude. Only like 5 people are listening to this podcast. John brought you on the shittiest fishing podcast on the internet. But why all right, you don't have to go into what kind of hair, but why hair versus throwing shit with a little small split tail minnow or a paddle tail? Why hair?
Like it's kind of the basis behind crappie fishing that I've when crappie fishing is very tough and you can't get them to bite, if you go to a hair jig, you'll catch 4 to 1 fish 90% of the time. And so, me being a bass guy and always crappie fishing, and I'm long rodding with 12-foot crappie rods that are like a medium heavy bass rod. So
doing like spider rigs?
No, just straight scoping with, it's like a flipping stick, except 12 foot. and so it's got backbone and it's parabolic in the right areas. So like I tie some bigger profile hair jigs for crappie. And, when I'm scoping and around a brush pile and I see, I would see a bass down there. I'm like, I can't help myself. I'm going to drop on it. And, I was consistently being able to catch 4 to 6 pound bass on a big crappie hair jig. And I was like,
Oklahoma.
Yeah. Lake Eufaula. That's where I kind of came up with the whole thing, is just over at our family lake house, on Lake Eufaula, like on the holiday weekends. And, like on the 4th of July last year. No, I don't own that place. So.
I don't own it, but my family does. So
Here's the
That's
great
right.
thing about
rich,
Juice.
I'm not.
Juice is very, very, very humble about the work he does. He's like me. He's very humble about the work he does, the work he does for other people.
Bitch, you ain't humble. Hey, Juice, tell me this: does the hair? Is it the profile, or does it sink slower? Like,
So-
what is the thing about hair versus using,
It
Magic
just
Crappy or something?
the thing about it is like the technique that I've had the most success with is like old school dead sticking, and so it's like a super finesse tactic just to get stingy fish to eat, because like you just like dead stick it and just hang it right above them, and like the hair just sits there. You're not having to shake a minnow. You're just like you're just hanging it over
Just
'em.
holding it. Yeah.
And they just and it looks like such a natural movement of a bait fish with the hairs just
Look at my
flowing.
fingers. That's what the hair does. You just set it there in the current and everything, because I have a bunch of Juice's jigs, and I'll sell them on eBay for $50 a pop.
True
and-
businessman.
Drunkwood
and
the
Juice-
flipper.
Yeah, the flipper. And Juice has
Juice
got
is
a
sending
big.
Drunkwood jigs for nothing, and he's selling them for
I tell you what,
180%
fucking
profit.
Pangrac mentioned the other day he's got like 50 to 100 Juice's jigs. That little cheap ass. Listen here, Pangrac. Your cheap ass needs to take those jigs,
He ain't
sell them on
listening, Hoss.
eBay,
You need to
buy a
tell-
goddamn engagement ring for your girlfriend, and end it before she leaves your ass.
Preach.
Do you hear that, Pangrac?
No, I can guarantee you, Matt
He won't
Pangrac,
hear.
he's
He
been on
won't.
the
I'll
podcast
text it to him
twice.
in the morning.
He ain't listening to this shit you're saying, so you're gonna have to text him word for word what you just said.
Okay,
And he
yeah,
might look
I-
at it 5 days later.
I responded. Yeah.
He'll respond. It'll be 2 weeks later. It's like, oh,
That's
man, I was
right.
busy. It's interesting to me. So I'm in the Raleigh area. So we have
Okay.
Jordan's a huge crappie fishing lake,
Mhm.
especially in the spring, and then coming up in the wintertime months now. A lot of crappie guys out there, and it's I don't crappie fish. I'm a bass angler. But
Yep.
I don't. The folks that I know aren't throwing hair shit. Like they're throwing really small lead head jigs
Yeah.
with like a yellow little magic crappie. What the hell is it called? Something like magic crappie or something.
Oh, the Bobby Garlands.
Yeah, Bobby Garland's.
Yeah.
You see those all over the
Yeah.
little few gas stations and the
Yeah.
places in that.
Wally World
Yeah.
has them too, so.
Yeah. It's,
I was
interesting
listening
where
to a
the hair
podcast
comes from.
today. A lot of those things have went out of business. Actually, it was Pangrac. A lot of those plastics have went out of business because hair is so much more popular than plastic.
For the crappie world.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah.
Juice, is it that much harder for them to mass produce a hair jig versus pouring a mold? Is it that much more labor intensive?
Yeah, I mean, hair
Yeah.
jigs are very labor intensive, and like I'm very like particular about it, and like I mean my stuff is built very well. Like I mean it like I've got a kid that, so I did the Hawaiian triple bass crown, the bass slam down there in Hawaii on Kauai this summer with a high school fishing kid, Cash Olson, and he's caught like 60 bass off of one of my hair jigs.
Holy
and so
shit.
yeah, like anything from peacock bass to smallmouth to largemouth
Them
in
fish
Hawaii.
got teeth.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible. Like, but like I that's the thing is like, I've got some buddies of mine that, have fished some derbies, and like, when they send in the SOS and they're like, hey dude, I need some hair. And I'm like, and I'm already swamped right now, just trying to get all my stuff tied for the hair, my drop. So
Do you ever respond to with them? Your hair is everywhere. It's screaming infidelities. It's making.
No, but like one of my buddies the other day, he goes, "Man, I only need 2," and I was like, "Perfect, I can handle that." Because like it's when it's like, "Hey, I need a dozen." I'm like, "No, that's not happening, bro. Not happening."
Look, I just shaved last week. You got to give me at least 3 weeks to get enough hair.
It's
my balls to tie another one.
It's like me in college. You have to have the ability to say no and just like, listen, no, you can't get it right now, but you'll get it then.
Yep, that never happened. Y'all, that's a lie. John never said that to anybody.
Juice, Thanksgiving is upon us. What is the thing with your business that you're the most thankful for and that you're also the least thankful for?
The most thankful for is, my stuff, like believing in like what you're doing and seeing people have success in what you created at the highest level, like, and almost, win a freaking tournament on what you designed for a Bassmaster Elite Series guy, I'm
fucking Ewok.
Mr. G. Mr. G.
Hey,
Mr. G.
So John's over here playing, and so Juice, so I'm a co-host. I have another co-host who he fishes, but he fishes for fun. And so his and I level of the knowledge what's going on day to day is very different. Drunkwood just asked a simple question. I'm intrigued, very much intrigued. You are tying your jigs sound like they're crappy first bait, but there are bass aspects, or can't think of the word right now, but like they're a crappy jig, but you can put them towards bass.
Yeah, I mean, well, like it's more or less like I took what I was able to do, because like I don't tie just normal crappie jigs. All of my stuff is very different than most in general, and so like they're very similar to a crappie jig, but like there's not another crappie jig out there like it. So
okay, look, I fish for crappie when the bass aren't biting. So I'm coming to you from a bass angler.
Okay.
How is this kind of a new avenue for bass fishing? That obviously we got the hair jigs. I love throwing a hair jig in the summertime.
The big hair,
Harrison, Jordan. Half ounce, whatever. I buy
3/4, 5/8. Yeah.
I buy the cheap ass shit from Walmart with the cheap ass, whatever the fuck. That ain't even real hair, right? But it's a hair jig, and where here we're throwing it out, we're pumping it up, letting it fall, and they're nailing it. Like when you're tying, we're talking about smaller jigs. We're talking about dead sticking it, kind of Demiki rig type fishing. Is that maybe the next new avenue of bass fishing that we haven't seen come to the forefront yet? Because the Demiki rig is like a little 2-inch minnow, split tail minnow usually. Are we going to start to see more of these hair jig type rigs coming out?
I think so.
Fishing year round.
Yeah, when these and that's what I designed this for, is like very high pressure, style fishing where the bite is very, very stingy, and so that and with live scope, fish get used to certain baits, and the hair is just a natural. It just moves so much differently, and a lot of these bass have never seen it.
So Juice, let me ask you this: in your personal, do you prefer hair or no?
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, as far as fishing goes, I prefer the hair.
Welcome to Bass and Brews Juice.
Well, I know what John, I know what he's capable of.
So that's what's awesome about the fish. Juice and I've got really connected via Pangrac and have got to be good buddies. He's a customer of mine, and he's awesome. And I connect. And, he a buddy of my, a running friend of mine's kid bought a shitload of stuff from him.
Yeah,
and
before I blew up too.
Before he blew up, and I always text him like,
"You sold that shit at a discount, then."
Well, and that's the thing is, his uncle, this kid's uncle, runs Texas bass,
Parks and Wildlife.
Texas Park and Wildlife runs the whole bass thing.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, dude, you should
the share lunker deal. Yeah,
share lunker.
And Juice is awesome. Juice is. I'd rather hang out with Juice than Pangrac any day of the week. So
yeah, well, we can have the same conversation and finish it.
Me, y'all talking about shit about Pangrac. He ain't here to defend himself.
Well,
hey,
he's busted me up all for the last, I don't know how long. He's made fun of me on BTL where I couldn't defend myself. So
no, he's
look, there's about
Pangrac's probably knee deep in biscotti.
0.005% of the amount of people listening to his shit listening to this. So there may be one that will comment on his videos like, "Hey, I heard Juice talking shit about you on Bass and Brews," but that's probably 1 out of 1,000. Hey, I got another quick question. See, fucking John, you bring somebody on here about fishing. You're just like Alex. You bring somebody on here about fishing, and I want to talk about fishing. Hey, does color with the hair have anything to do with the bite that you've seen? Like, is it a chartreuse? Is it a white? Is it a black? Like, does color have anything to do with what you're seeing with the bite?
Or coon? Could you do a coon skin? How about coon hair?
I 100% could tie that, but I don't know if I would or not. I'd have to test it in the water to see what it looks like. Because
coon hair, dude.
How about possum? Because I'll get you 10 possums next week if you can use some possum hair.
As long as you tan it, I'll be good.
I ain't tanning shit. I'm gonna send you the possum in a box after I killed it. That bitch is gonna show up. That bitch is gonna show up with blood and guts.
That's some Billy Madison shit, dude. It's like.
Yeah, the post office is gonna be like, "What the hell is this?" He's like, "Oh, that's my buddy Paul down in North Carolina sent me some possums." But no, seriously, does color really affect the bite from a bass sense, right? Not from a crappie, from a bass sense. Does color?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I call the rodeo queen. She's just like. The concept behind that is so this is my favorite color jerk bait, crankbait that I've ever thrown.
So she's a little bit crazy and lot of wild.
She got a little purple in it. You got a little purple in it.
Got a little purple.
Oh yeah.
So
that's my
the basis behind that is it looks sexy and looks fun. But, as soon as you bite it, just like the bass does, it's like a bad experience. I grew up in the cat,
so
I grew up in the
barrel. It's the barrel racer.
100%.
It's the barrel racer of your baits.
Yeah. And I grew up with in the country and was around rodeo queens and, they're worse than any regular high maintenance chick you've ever met in your life because she's got the same concept of life of a regular high maintenance chick, and then you add on a F-350 and $150,000 trailer and
a belt buckle
and a $70,000 horse, and God knows what the saddle costs. I dated a reining horse
talking
girl.
about barrel racers. You're talking about the quintessential barrel racer.
100%. Yeah. And so that's kind of like, I think it's, I don't know, like I like, and I like red dirt country music, and Aaron Watson has a song, and I was like that, like I kind of pick names based off of music sometimes too. It's like songs I like. So
how about Pangrac, instead of going to horses, is like, fuck it, let's go to planes. Let's just go from horses to planes.
Oh jeez. Let's not go there, please.
He is not here to defend himself, so hey, John, you should text him to see if he's free right now. But back to fucking colors, because I want to talk about fishing.
Sorry,
Damn it. The colors, bass fishing, the colors, does it matter? Does chartreuse,
right now. Hold on.
Yeah, 100%.
White, like I'm
so
colorblind.
this is the jig that Robert G and I designed together for him back last March, and he's had 2 top 10s. And this was featured on Bassmaster top 10 baits of 2 of the last 3 derbies of the year. And so this is like, I mean, dude, this thing works everywhere. It's worked from Minnesota lakes, catching smallmouth to largemouth, to Champlain, to Smith Lake. I mean, it's worked everywhere. Like, and it works well in clear water. It's probably best used in clear water, but however, like, I mean, I know a guy caught an 816 on this in Oklahoma, in a Thursday nighter. So, it's so like, and that was in stained water. I don't know, but like, this is my go-to here in slightly stained water, a little something hot coming at them.
Sexy shad is kind of what that looks like.
Yeah, but the darker purple hues, like I like.
I'm colorblind, bitch.
Me too, dude. Me too. I'm colorblind.
You colorblind to be tying the hair jigs. That's crazy.
Well, like, I've trained my brain, like, as long as somebody's not messing with me, like, if it's a weird color, like, I'm like, damn, I don't know that color. Like, but like, I don't know. Like, and also, like, there's a colorblind pal app. You need to get it, dude. Swear to God. Like, it is awesome. Like, so like, I have to ask my wife if I match some morning. So yeah, I mean,
look, I don't even ask anymore. I just, I just put my shit.
Do you haven't asked her? Do you haven't asked her if the curtain matches the drapes?
Good grief.
Hey, so Juice, I'm down here in the Carolinas. I'm in North Carolina, middle of the state. Jordan, Sharon Harris Falls from the MLF, because they're the only people that come here because the lake's too small to take bass because we got too many people. Anyway, a dirty water lake like that, what? If I was to order some jigs from you, hair jigs, and say, hey, I'm in this, what would you recommend for water like that I'm out? That's eight inches of clarity.
Yeah.
8 inches of clarity is clear on a good day. That's what we're getting.
I mean, honestly, like, I make a little black jig, like, that, just a straight black and on it. Or I was going to say, I call this one the snowflake.
White.
Yeah. Just straight white. I call it a snowflake.
Do you name it after Pangrac?
The world. Huh?
Do you name it after Pangrac?
Exactly. Exactly did. Yeah.
Pangrac just sent me a text. I said, hey, jump on. And his text was something about his internet just being absolutely trash.
Yeah, that's not true. He does live videos.
They're trash. His videos have been trash.
Dude, he just needs to do the, what is that? What is the Starlink, yeah. And he's
I just texted him. I said, jump on, and I'll see if he jumps on. He may jump on.
Look, I'll tell you what, this podcast started off with John and I talking about some bullshit, and then Kristine Fischer came on, with
Yeah.
Snyder's in her driver's
Hey,
seat.
Kristine was dressed to the nines.
And then we had like 58 minutes of John and me talking about camping shit, and John almost killing 3 of his friends.
Yeah,
did.
he sent me the pictures. It was nuts.
And then
I was like,
Juice
"You're
jumps on.
insane."
And then, well, he's not insane. His friends that followed him are the fucking insane ones. And then now Juice jumps on, and we spent the last 10 or 15 minutes actually talking real fishing again. But hey, you've probably never listened to this podcast, but
No, I
this
have.
is the essence. You've listened to Bass and Brews?
Oh hell yeah, dude! Like I'm friends with John, so
Oh
like,
my gosh.
he's
I
told
feel
me about
honored.
it.
I feel honored.
I was
This is
kind of
Bass
pumped
and-
because I'm a big beer
It's
guy.
great.
I'm a beer connoisseur, dude. So
We used to, so when Bass and Brews first started, Alex and I used to do like, what are you drinking tonight? And then if our guests drink alcohol, they would say, we're drinking this. We don't do that anymore because I gained a shitload of weight and started getting gout. So the only thing I could drink is White Claw, and I went to White Claw Surge. And then Alex, we kind of got away from the beer. But when you
We'll
crack
get
that
you an
beer
umbrella
open,
for
I have
that,
to
bro.
ask you, do what?
I said we'll get you an umbrella for that, dude.
Oh my God. But look, the White Claws
I'm
don't give
just
me the
kidding.
gout. That's how
Yeah.
it goes.
But
but this
I've had
is-
some friends have that.
Oh shit, that fucking shit's the worst. But anyway, regardless of the gout,
Yeah.
this is the essence of this podcast. We're 2 hours and 6 minutes in.
Yeah.
This is the essence of the podcast where we just talk about all kinds of shit. But we always end up talking about fishing, and John brings somebody on that gives us great fishing content and information. Like, we don't get a ton of this. We don't. You're awesome, man. I tell you what.
I appreciate it.
I just texted something to Pangrac, very inappropriate.
Lord.
He goes, I don't want to hijack their stream. I was like, come on, quit being
First
a
of
little
all,
bitch.
it's not. First of all, it's not streaming, so he ain't hijacking shit. I'm over here with some. I bought these fucking.
Can I get
stupid
another beer?
sunglasses. Yes, go
Yeah.
ahead. While I diatribe, while you go get another beer, I'm wearing stupid ass like octagonal sunglasses from Sheets that cost
Sheetz.
$17
Oh, the gas
fucking
station.
dollars. Oh my God. Oh my God. Hey! We can't hear you. Every time. Pangrac been on this podcast twice, and we can't hear a damn word he says every time.
No.
I
There
he is.
I'm
Yes.
here.
There he is.
I
Hey,
had some
Matt
best
Pangrac,
juice.
I love you.
Cheers.
You're
That is
awesome.
the best.
You're awesome. Drunkwood and Juice have been talking shit about you. So
Oh, that's got to be Modelo
exactly
with the
why
wine.
I'm on here. I've already had that chat with him from maybe some previous things that he said.
Stone
You
Cloud
gotta
October.
come on
So
here
I'm
and
just here to
defend
make sure
yourself.
that my reputation is intact following this episode of the show.
I took it pretty
Dude,
easy on you.
I kid you not. I sprinkled some beer dust on some fillets tonight.
Yes, my man.
I can
I'll
go
tell
get
you
it
what.
right now. It's literally sitting out on my table. You could, I mean, you may be a millionaire already, but you could be a millionaire off of whatever you have sent me in that little baggie multiple times now.
It's got
Just in the
crack
baggie, baby.
cocaine in it. That's all.
I've had it
that's
at the
secret.
house. It's
Oh yeah,
it's
you
top-
have had it. I've said
it's
that.
top-
Yeah,
it's
he
top
makes
shelf,
beer
bro.
dust.
That's
Yeah,
me.
dude.
That's me.
Yeah.
That's him.
That's me.
I'm a big cook, so like I'm all about my seasoning. So
Nice.
Who's that
Pangrac.
behind you, Juice?
That's what
so
we said. It's just like 5 people.
I've got Mason and Eric over here training to tie tonight. So I've got.
Do people
them
know
going.
you've caught like 6 bass in your life?
Hey,
I mean, let's be honest here.
Let's be real. Like I'm fishing behind you. You know the back of the boat's always kicking your ass.
Yeah,
so.
I don't leave anything, buddy.
hey, Matt, do you know who the number one guest we had on tonight was?
Say that again.
Do you know who the number one guest we had on tonight was?
Well, I would assume it was the freaking hair king himself.
He said he couldn't tie jigs for another.
This guy's going to be
2 weeks 'cause
charging
his balls were already
$29.95
shaved.
for a llama pube hair Mickey in about 2 months.
We had the best.
Don't give away all my
multi-
secrets.
Hey, I know you did this whole Linder in fisherman thing, but we had the best multi-species angler on this podcast earlier. That's not you. Who would that be?
The best multi-species angler on the that would 100% the best multi-species angler is Steve Kennedy.
Oh, sorry.
You know what? That would have been great, but no, it wasn't.
Her name was Kristine Fischer and Russ Snyder.
Kristine Fischer agreed to come on Bass and Brews.
Dude,
She
that's
was on
what I'm
this
saying.
earlier.
Look, all right, y'all listen.
Did you tell her there was like a tin cup sponsorship on the line or something?
I may have bet an elbow. I won't tell you what degree I bet that elbow, but it was bet.
Look,
You see, Juice, I got my Sooners hat on and in the hopes of a 6-win season.
oh,
We can
okay,
pray,
there
bro.
we go.
We can pray.
Who do you guys got this weekend?
Alabama.
Who is it? It's a team. Is it? Oh, they're out. They're in the southeast. They're out of the southeast. Their
It's gonna be
coach just
ugly.
retired a couple years ago. What are they? Where are they? They've got a small stadium.
Greenbow. They in Greenbow?
No, I've heard of them before though. Where are they out of? Tuscaloosa.
Oh shit! You play Bama? You fucked.
I heard that town.
You're
sucks.
more fucked than Baxter the Bateman trying to pull a trolling motor up. You're fucked.
You never know. South Carolina beat Alabama years ago.
So
They
here's the
weren't supposed to
thing.
win.
Do I go to the game or do I just go tailgate with Brad Hallman before the game and then come
Tailgate,
home with
tailgate
some
only.
form of dignity?
Tailgate only. Yeah.
Tailgate only with Holman. I mean that's what I would do.
Because
Tailgate.
we can be in the game for me and Court can be in the game for $250.
I could have probably got you some for free if you would have hollered. So.
Well, I haven't bought them yet, so I'm hollering.
Bad friend.
I'm
or-
hollering right now, Hair King. Hook me up. Put your money where your mouth is. Get me the Bama tickets for free.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
I would imagine a man of your stature with a vest like that can probably pull a pair of free Bama
Dude,
tickets.
it's
Hey,
best weather,
that-
dude. It's not cold enough for a coat, but just right with the
It is
vest, man.
best weather.
That's
Hey,
what I'm screaming.
Yes. I've got shorts
So-
on because I'm in North Carolina, so that means it's winter in the morning, and by 4:00 it's summertime. So I have to wear a
So-
vest and transition.
You know, I still
pants.
have those stupid Crusher stickers that you set in the frickin' bombs that you send me. It'd be like 2 Mr. Twister tails, 9 Crusher stickers, the frickin' beard dust,
trash.
a Tic Tac, like one that you shake out of the can but isn't in the can. It's just a random Tic Tac, 2 random prescription drug pills, and some confetti.
If you ever get a package from me, it's going to contain the one thing that we agreed that I was going to send you, beer dust or whatever it is. Usually it's beer dust. That's about the only thing.
You
I
did
mail.
send me a badass shirt though.
Oh yes, I did send you the Bass
It's
and Brews
yellow?
shirt that you've worn. Yep.
Dude, I
No,
wear
dude.
that thing all the time.
My heart
I
has
wear it at
just
the gym.
stopped.
Yeah, I love it.
Do you
Yeah.
have that
Hey.
hat, Drunkwood?
yeah,
or that
I-
shirt?
Yeah.
Yes, he posted a picture on the fucking internet of him wearing that shirt with no bottoms and his ass cheeks in the
Yeah, I
mirror.
remember
No
that.
fucking lie. Posted that shit on the internet.
I also think it's crazy that you and Juice wear the exact same sight fishing sunglasses.
Yeah, but is Juice missing his left canine? like John
No.
is. It looks
I
like a
got it.
fucking pirate on the podcast. Arr. My name's Drunk.
God
Arr.
damn, you guys are 2 hours in already?
We're 2 hours and 15 minutes in.
Matt,
Well, this has
Matt,
been a fucking shit show.
Can we get to the good question? When are you going to pop the question and bring the missus to Oklahoma?
Well, we're deciding on where we're gonna be.
Are you going to stay in Oklahoma? Because we will welcome you to Kentucky. We would love you to be in Kentucky.
There's not a United hub in Kentucky, so I think you're out of there. There is
a Pornhub
in Dallas, Fort Worth, though. So the game plan was to win the Bass Nation Championship, make the Elite Series and the Classic, and then pop the question after I lifted the trophy, which everything looked good after day one. Not so great after day two. So I'm just going to put that portion of the thanks for coming out check that I got to the ring.
Hey, you got a check?
I did get a check.
Bass fishing getting a check is a win.
Nah, not when you're fishing for the Elite Series and the Classic.
And on the home pond. But I'll tell you what, I found a hell of a school of freaking hybrid stripers. No, we're not.
Hey, let's talk about more crappie fishing.
Dude,
don't catch some slabs. You just
listen.
made
I think I owe
some fucking slabs.
I owe Drunkwood a trip to Oklahoma. So Drunkwood came out. So when you walk into my house, this is no bullshit. When you walk into my house, the very first thing you see is my house number in red, and it's on a jumping bass. You've seen it, Juice.
It's legit.
And that showed up as a housewarming gift from Drunkwood. And he also
it's screwed in like a weird sorority girl.
It's screwed in like a weird sorority girl. Is
yeah, with it's like
it's a wood nail screwed into brick. But
yeah,
I digress.
A Pangrac special. He's like Tim the Toolman.
Hooked me up with OU Texas front row tickets to the basketball game because his buddy was assistant coach there. So we went, treated like royalty, the whole thing. So I think I owe Drunkwood. And now that Drunkwood's buddies with Juice, because who the hell doesn't Juice know now that he ties a couple hair jigs?
I'm better buddies with Uncle Frank.
I think we owe Drunkwood a trip to Oklahoma to get on these crappies so he knows what the hell we're talking about.
You can hop in my boat and we'll take on Uncle
I literally
Frank.
taught you how to do it, Juice. You had no clue how to do it.
He just picked the colors. Is that what you're saying?
I literally taught. I said, I literally taught him how to do it. He spent a year and a half and caught 3 crappie in a drum.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. Come on.
I don't want to be the person, but we already had one person on this podcast talking about the colors tonight.
Stop it. I'm not editing this podcast. Don't make me edit shit.
But Drunkwood, you need to come down and spend a couple days. It's just getting good. We got water. I've been out doing it the last 3 or 4 days. I may or may not sneak out tomorrow morning.
You just made a post of catching like a fucking 16-inch crappie.
Yeah, that's a decent one.
You're going home for Thanksgiving. Why?
We're going hunting, dude. We're on a quest this winter.
We can fish good bass in Kentucky. Don't go home for Thanksgiving.
Go home for my parents are 80. I'm going home for Thanksgiving.
You got to. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm going to overrule you, Drunkwood.
Every holiday, I'm home from now.
He doesn't have very many left. So.
Wow.
Thanks, Juice.
Goddamn, Juice. Jesus Christ.
Jesus.
What are you going to ask for their hair afterwards?
Not, no. Oh my God!
But no, you need to come down.
Who says
I
that?
got a very nice, a lovely guest bed. Since the time Drunkwood, when you came down, I had just
they're the same age as my grandparents. It was what, 2 cardboard
boxes and a TV, and that was it. In my house,
it was very minimal.
Oh, that's when Joe La Barbera stayed with you and cleaned up your house and cut your grass.
He did, dude. I love Joe. He's a steelhead king now.
He's something.
Juice
and Joe are buddy. Dude, could you imagine Juice.
I got a
just
Joe
picture
story to tell you guys.
He-
I got
Oh,
a Joe
tell
story.
me.
It's epic.
this. Drunkwood and La Barbara 3 days crappie fishing this winter.
Ugh.
Do what?
Tell the Joe show. Joe
Me,
LaBarbera
you,
is a classic of
John
this podcast.
and La Barbara.
I mean,
I'd kill someone.
I do have a good La Barbara story about being on the water together.
Oh yeah, Juice. I also introduced him to like his 3 other best friends too. So
Whatever.
literally, I'd call
Hey.
Juice. La Barbara lives at my house. I'd call Jared and be like, "What are you up to?" And he's like, "Oh, me and Joe are fishing." And I'd be like, "What?"
Dude, you were in Fort Worth, bro. Like, come on. Like,
Joe
what do you want?
How the fuck did Joe make it down there? Joe hadn't paid rent in 2 months and he's fishing.
Joe's good, dude. Like Joe was a badass roommate. Unexpected,
love-
but
Joe had
badass.
Rent
We
2
love Joe
months.
LaBarbera.
Yeah.
Tell the story,
He's
Juice.
welcome. He's literally welcome at my house anytime for as
Hell
long as
yeah.
he wants to be here. I would like to make that perfectly
Yeah,
clear.
he's
Like
he's as
Joe's
good as
a
they
Joe's a
come.
ride or die dude, man.
Yeah, man.
Tell us the
Joe's
story,
amazing.
Juice,
I
of
love
Joe
Joe.
LaBarbera.
So Joe and I went bass fishing on a lake here in Oklahoma, not far from my house, and this is the first time I'd ever bass fished it, and me
First
and
time you
Matt
ever
had
bass fished?
bass fished that lake.
Oh,
You and I went there and smashed the crappie, and we went out and targeted tried to just go straight up bass fishing, and it was pretty funny. So we had a pretty good day. He was throwing. We all know Joe. He's throwing some weird Japanese fucking $30 like
I've heard this story 7 times before. I got to take a leak.
$30 swim bait. That's
Go for it,
a
Banger.
line. That's a line tie, and I can't even pronounce the name of it, or I would try. But
Got
anyways.
BKK hooks on it for
oh,
sure.
dude, but
BKK,
that swim bait deal that BKK has, that swim bait like where you can interchange the weights, that's legit. Like. He introduced me to that. That's pretty legit. So I've implemented that into my arsenal. But but anyway, so we'd had a pretty decent day. I don't know, like 15, 18 pounds. And, first time really, this lake has 0 mapping, by the way. So like, I don't know the lake well enough. I've only been on there probably 5 or 6 times crappie fishing. And so I don't have contour lines, and hard to break down a new body of water if you don't. So I'm using my phone and GPS nautical maps to try to break it down with him and trying to find the higher percentage areas where the bass are going to be. And so we had a pretty decent day. He dumped a couple of big ones on that swim bait that day, though. It was pretty cool. But we end up like where all the bank fishermen were, on this big ass flat with a point that comes like 200 yards off the bank. And there is this guy in his mid 50s MFing us every other word. And it's a day that there's like 0 wind. You can hear every word he says. And like, me and Joe are like, can you believe this guy? And he's catfishing, right? So this is the irony of the story. This guy is threatened us to meet us at the boat ramp to whoop our ass. Like that's, but like, swear to God, from the bank. Like, and it's just like, we're 200 yards. That surf rod, you can't cast it 100 yards. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, Ned in the 3rd grade licking windows. Come on. And
Licking windows.
That 3-ounce pyramid weight ain't gonna make it here, Hoss.
No, it was almost comical because he got pissed and he threw at us, like it was almost comical at that point. But I was like, all right, I've had all I wanted. This, like, I don't,
if you don't back up, I'm gonna throw this buffalo hair jig at your boat.
And so we got this dude just and us at the bank catfishing, and there's a line of people down this bank. It's a nice springtime day, and Joe hooks up on this Japanese freaking swim bait, and catches like a 20-pound flathead. And I'm like, oh, bro, we were going to have so much fun with this. Like, and so like I had to get out the net and I netted it. And anyways, I was like, hey, so like I'm with my phone and on spot lock and we're just freaking like, I'm like, show it off. Like, you know what I mean? Cause like this schmuck up on the bank is catfishing and we're out here 200 yards off and he catches a giant flathead. It's like, we show that guy and he says some expletives back to us. And like at that point I was like, oh shit, like I've got my pistol in the boat, so like we're good. like
you realize these
like,
shows are archived for the public, Juice.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, bitches.
Shit.
Fuck you, Matt. Fuck you.
Pangrac, if you're saying that, dude, the shit that Drunkwood and Juice said about you before you came on, I mean, that's
I've seen your penis.
No, you haven't.
God, Jesus Christ.
So weird. It's so weird.
You know what? There's a line, and Drunkwood not only jumps over that line, he rubs that shit in the ground.
Yeah, I know. Hanging out and associating with Drunkwood's like a rattlesnake.
Dude,
Like
that's
super
true.
cool. It's a good time, but you gotta
It'll bite you in the ass.
take this how it is. You got to make sure you know where the head is.
He's gonna send you to the emergency room.
He does look like Daniel Stern.
Look, motherfucker looks like damn Captain
Opposite
Jack right
Slickers.
now, missing a tooth.
Oh shit!
Arr, Drunkwood.
Oh my gosh!
Craziness. Hey, Pangrac. Hey, Pangrac. Tell us about the post you made here recently about catching those big ass crappie. You are in a crappie tournament. What's going on there?
No, we were just trying to do the In Fisherman Master Angler Challenge, and so Stefan came. We tried to catch 6 species, and the conditions sucked. And then we were a 1/4 inch or a 3/4 of an inch or an inch short on all the other species. And then we drove literally 400 miles, and we knew we were going to get 1 or 2 shots at it. And he had like a 11 or 12 pounder, just freaking own them. In West Texas.
Matt, you and I, we grew up in the same area. In Fisherman was the magazine we read because you could get everything from it.
I know, that's how cool it is to be able to work with them and interact with them. And like, I'm like a 12-year-old kid right now. Listen, I had some fatigue. Like, I'm fatigued over the industry right now, over what's like, it's a bunch of crap going on right now. But that to me is fun. That to me is exciting.
Reverse hand job fatigue or what?
No, just everything that's going on with it. Like, I still love tournament fishing. I still have a lot of faith in bass and everything. But like what everything that was going on, like, it was awesome to just go hook up on a hybrid striper and be like, is that a 26 incher? You know what I mean? To have like a goal. I love catching freaking fish. I've always loved catching fish.
Where were y'all fishing? Were y'all in Oklahoma? Were you in Arkansas?
We went from northeast Oklahoma to West Texas in 4 days. We did over 1,500 miles in 4 days.
So what were y'all trying to catch in those areas? And obviously, you
hybrid striper, white bass, sawguy, largemouth bass, whiter black crappie, and sauger.
Sauger. And then where did you go to? Sawguy?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We never ended up fishing for him. Yeah, we do. We never ended up fishing for him because we ended up mainly targeting white bass, hybrids, largemouth, and white crappie. And we had a chance at all 4. Like dude, like what we saw for the largemouth was just dumb. I mean, we had one shot at it, and it was a big giant one.
So there were no smallmouth in.
No, we didn't get down to the smallmouth, but we were an inch short on the hybrid. We were 3/4 of an inch short on the white bass. We both caught a master angler crappie. Is that another person behind you? Is that a new person behind you, Juice?
Yeah, I've got Eric and Mason over here. That's what I was going to tell you.
Got a good fucking sweatshop.
We're training. I can't do this camera.
I don't know. Those don't look like yours. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
Hey, if they work as well as you say they do,
no, those
send
look
me all
pretty
the
good.
shitty. Send me all the shitty ones, and
No,
I will
those
show
actually
you.
look pretty decent.
They're legit. Like, I taught these guys a week ago. After
So, do you want to know the list of people who have contacted me to try to get Juice's jigs?
I
because
yeah,
Drunkwood's already asked him about how many. He had more DMs than Kristine Fischer of dudes asking him for his lures. So yes,
Jacob
we wanna know
Wheeler,
this. Oh, wow.
Justin Lucas, Brandon Polinick, Ben Milliken. I mean, that's not a bad 4. I mean, I'm sitting there at the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame, and Kevin Van Dam is just sitting there looking at the jigs going, oh, yeah, these look badass. And I'm trying I should have just said, hey, let me take a picture of you. My friend who makes them will geek out, but I didn't. But I mean, Kevin was sitting there like looking at him being like, oh, yeah, these are freaking like the Kevin Van Dam with a Juice's jigs in his hand going, oh, that's pretty badass. Like, I got to hand it to you. I got to hand it to you, Juice. For a colorblind ginger from Oklahoma, not bad.
Don't we talk about shit about colorblindness now? Because you got 2 of us here. I'm colorblind as fuck.
Just say, hey, who's this little bitch? Because you're basically saying colorblind little bitch.
No. Nah, he's a good dude. Juice has always been a good to me.
Colorblindness should not be picked on, especially somebody who's making baits, because that's hard. It's tough.
Yeah, I've overcame it. I figured out how to do it.
By catching fish. By catching fish.
That's
Good
right.
times.
That's right. So, what was it going to? Yeah, there's a few others that I have not published, and I'm not going to. That are there might be a Bassmaster Classic winner that has some. So that's all I'm going to say.
Oh my!
All Elias.
All Elias.
No, I mean no. There's some hammers that have them, and like I've just kind of like
Stanley Mitchell.
I've respected I've respected, like
Hank Parker.
Well, it's funny because like
Pangrac.
Woo Daves.
It was funny because I was like kind of like the local secret in the pocket around here for about 6 or 8 guys that nobody was, I couldn't get any content of my Hermikis catching fish there for the longest time, when I put myself out there in January of last year. So with my bass stuff. So yeah, it's been pretty cool to be validated. So
how speaking on that about
can't wait
people
for that
putting
video.
their stuff on social media and all.
What's that?
Like
speaking
on putting your stuff.
Paycheck.
I don't know. Drunkwood's over there. I don't know
he just keeps talking over there.
Look at that thing. Juice was with me. Literally tied that up one night. We went out the next morning at 6 a.m. and by 6:30, I had a 670 in the boat on it.
No, it was a 611.
That's the same thing as 670. Dork.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Look at that hair.
Well, that's what the scale said that day. Sorry. Yeah,
so that's the exact same weight.
Look, your hair is everywhere, screaming infidelities.
So that's the actual jig that I caught it on.
That's what I'm saying. When Pangrac is holding up the exact jig that he caught like a Oklahoma giant on, that says something right there.
Dude, it
he
absolutely
cut that off his line.
It
and brought
absolutely
it into the studio.
trucked it too. Like
Dude,
it was like
a third cast.
I was stroking that jig. I was like, do.
Mm.
And so the reason we went
Kinda
out there,
like
we went out there on a
stroke that jig,
Thursday. At a
baby.
Wednesday, Austin Cranford and I had 3 for 15, and we got beat and we called like 320. We called like 320-pound limits, and these kids came out and they caught a 6 and a 5 and a 5.5, and we had 3 5s. I mean, we had, it was insane. We caught 20 over 4 pounds in 2.5 hours in a Wednesday or a Thursday nighter. Anyway, I was like, dude, there's got to be a way to get those bigger fish to trigger. And Juice was like, let me tie something up. He goes, and I'll meet you at the boat ramp at 6 a.m. And we got out there, and literally like third cast, I put it on one, and I went doo on 20-pound test, and literally as it fell, it just went boom, and I jacked it, and it was almost a 7-pounder.
So were you like yo-yoing it, or
No, I was
it?
snapping it. Like literally letting it go all the way to the bottom and then going doo, and then just letting it fall on a slack line, 20-pound test.
What's half ounce? What size?
What is this? A 3/8.5 Juice?
No, yeah, the half ounce is what you caught it on.
Yeah. So I caught it on the half ounce, but it's got a big beefy 4/0 kind of medium
It's
gauge
a
hook in
5/0.
there.
Yeah.
It is a 5/0. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
is.
it's a 5/0.
That's a lot of freaking.
Yeah, so I do some sneaky stuff with the big hair.
He actually goes to the North Pole, and this is actually off of Santa Claus.
I saw Christmas Chronicles.
I do some different stuff with the big hair to get better hookup ratios, and also I tie in stuff to slow the fall rate that you'll never you don't know it's there, but it works to slow.
How do you feel about the big hair back home?
You keep
There we
asking
go.
that question.
There's that line.
You don't even sell these, do you, Juice?
Yeah, I sold them on
Not
custom
yet.
orders. Yeah, I just I don't have enough
I
time
get
to.
'em.
I don't.
You have them, Drunkwood?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's got some.
Do they work on Cumberland?
You could. You don't work on Cumberland, but I do.
What does that even mean?
He don't know.
I haven't even seen Drunkwood drink anything tonight. I've been on for 30 minutes.
Well, you missed the first 2.5 hours.
You've been on for 2.5 hours, Juice?
Mm-mm.
I have.
No.
I got on at
Oh,
like
God.
8:45 because I was.
How
I've been
long was
tired
Juice
since I got
on
home from
before
work.
I got on?
Just
what
got
time
on at
is it?
9:05.
What time is it?
So there was a little bit of damage control.
Oh.
Drunkwood started
I
at
wasn't
2
too rough
hours
on
and
you.
30,
Like I just talked about, we could
39
fit.
minutes ago.
These smell funny.
It's the hair, dude.
They smell
It's-
like fish. Hey,
real
Pangrac,
hair.
I asked Juice this earlier, and he said yes, but he wouldn't give up the quote unquote juice. What's the color? Does the color matter? Chartreuse, white,
Mhm.
a little bit of purple.
I think it's more of how he builds the jig to create body and flow in it. And I think that basic colors matter, but I think that there's a lot of fluff in that jig, like, to where you make it look good. But I think that the magic in it is what it's made out of, and the layers that it's made out of, and the different types of hair that it's made out of, more so than the subtle colors.
So it's that
Agreed.
presentation.
That's my
of how that jig
opinion on it.
looks.
I think you either have a bait fish or a leech color, and those are your two freaking colors. I mean, a crawfish color if you're throwing it on a football head or whatever. But other than that, like, I think you have some contrast colors, but that little subtle stuff. But I think it's how he builds it with the layering the multiple different types of hair and the hollowness and what floats and what doesn't, and how long it is and how dense it is and how it's tied and what head is used and hooked. That's where the magic is in it.
So on bass
Is that a
fishing
fair
then,
assessment, Juice?
Yeah, I mean, there's one anomaly. Like I had a day on a specific lake that you and I fish a lot, and the Tina and Chad was not working that day, and I caught probably 20 fish on the rodeo queen. I mean, I can't, you know what I mean? Like, it was slightly stained, and it made all the difference in the world with that chartreuse in it. So that's
Dude,
an anomaly.
look, I caught that fish on it. Look at that hook. That's a big 5/0, and it's like slightly bent out from that. See how it's slightly bent out from that freaking 7-pounder?
Mm-hmm.
That's how hard I cracked it.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that was a big fish.
Mm-hmm.
What are you fishing at? What were you fishing on, Pangrac? Like line and at least rod?
I was throwing a
Is it heavy?
7.6 heavy with 20-pound fluoro.
Mm.
And I mean, I freaking cracked it. Like it was if I had to pick one fish catch from 2024, that was it. That was my favorite fish catch of the year. Was that hair jig bite.
It was pretty epic.
Was that heavy line making it sink slower? Or
oh yeah,
what was
this
the
thing
deal?
you could just watch it on scope, just slowly sink
Yeah.
down.
Mm.
It was in 14 foot of water.
Here's a question. If you could only fish a beetle spin for an elite open tournament, how many pounds could you have?
On what lake?
Whatever the fucking opens are on.
I'm confident that in 10 to 12 pounds. I mean, dude,
Wow.
a beetle spin is legit. A beetle spin is a grub, a swim bait, a spinner bait. Like a beetle spin catches fish.
Yep, all of them.
I think.
Bass?
I would conservatively say 10 pounds. If it's a 12 or 14-inch limit, I think on a normal fish, not like the Red River, I would say 10 to 12 pounds on a
Is
beetle
it a dock lake? Is it a dock lake?
Mm.
But I just know on scope,
You don't
like
know.
you could throw that sucker on a
Oh, yeah.
a fish on scope will eat a beetle spin.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to the local tackle shop and you're like, hey man, I need all the beetle spins you got. Does this color
A
matter?
beetle spin is a
it
tiny
black with the
Colorado
bl-
blade spinner bait.
Yeah.
I would go with
Is it-
white, just
is-
straight white.
Yeah.
White with the
Straight-
black
okay.
lines down it with the red dots on it.
Do you have to
Yeah,
give
yeah,
those
the
guys
red
a
dots.
15-minute break every 4 hours, Juice? Like
What's that?
legally, do you have to give them a like, are they out smoking a freaking Marlboro Red for 15 minutes every 4 hours behind your house so
No,
that you
but-
comply with all of the rules and regulations of being
Hey,
an
let's-
employer?
Yeah, well, these are contractors, so you know.
They're 1099
Independent
I,
contractor.
guys.
I have a
1099.
yeah, man. I I went out and got an attorney that drafted me an agreement to protect myself and my intellectual property. and
Has
all the
any
things,
of
so,
the
yeah.
6 random people in your garage signed anything that's legally binding yet?
100%. Yeah, the only two the only two that I've ever like.
They've
trained.
signed a legally binding document.
Yeah, man.
Can we talk to them?
I'm on my AirPods right now.
I'm on my AirPods.
Do you want to?
What, you don't like sharing AirPods? You still got that fungus?
Oh shit!
We can't. I told
Here
you
we
not to talk
go.
about that, man. Come on.
Here we go. We're getting down to deep and dirty now.
We're not going to talk about your rash.
Hey, I'm proud of that
Hey.
rash.
Hey,
And it hasn't been contagious since 2022.
them barrel racers are rough.
That's right.
Can we talk to them?
Yeah, hold on. Hey guys. Hey,
Uh-oh.
Eric, you got Eric Noyes and Mason Mitchell here. These
Eric
guys
and
want to.
Mason.
Yeah, here, I'm going to take you off my AirPods. I'll just put you on.
Okay.
You guys hear us?
Yeah.
Barely.
We would just like an in-depth review on what it's like working for Jared Morgan.
Yeah.
Like, is he hard to work for? Is he easy to work for?
They didn't hear you. Sorry, I had you on mute.
I said we would just like an in-depth review on what it's like to work for Jarrett.
We're not allowed to discuss that. We signed.
We signed an NDA.
NDA.
Trained.
You guys don't even look
now.
like you've been to prom before. How about an NDA?
What does the NDA stand for?
Non-OSHA certified non-disclosure agreement.
Like, does he give you guys breaks, or does he make you work in there for like 14 hours and pee in a bucket?
Sweatshop.
What?
Temu factory.
Temu.
Amazon without the benefits.
The exotic hair that he uses, does he make you guys actually harvest that, or?
We're hunter-gatherers here, so,
That deer that he killed last week, that's what we're talking with right now.
There's 6 zoos that Juice is banned from right now.
That deer is the hardest Juice has gotten in at least 6 years.
That doe in the background?
No, the buck.
Oh.
That was a funny story. That was pretty epic. Pangrac calls me halfway down my lease road. Dude, are we going the right way? And do you have guns? Because there's somebody following us.
As Pangrac pulls a gun.
He has no guns.
I do now.
Yeah.
It was pretty sketchy, but no, it was a cool deer. I totally forgot I had this trap in here. I got to put that in the boat.
Well, look, guys, this has been awesome. Absolutely unbelievable. We got to wrap it up.
Yeah, man.
Almost 3 hours. I'm going camping tomorrow.
Well, good luck with that.
I got to go crack acetone to go get a goddamn camping site. So, Juice, Pangrac, thanks for coming on last second.
Yeah, can I make
Drunkwood.
the one announcement that?
Yep, make it.
So Jig Drop is Black Friday, November 29th, 7 a.m. for my local guys here in Oklahoma City that are going to have the availability to buy a limited quantity in store at Lucky Lure Tackle. And then we go live with the drop for the masses at 9 a.m. Central Time on lltackle.com.
Has masses.
Oh, God. Come on, man. So,
Juice
Well,
now has
fellas,
masses.
Awesome time. Thank you for coming on. Thanks for
man.
hopping on. We appreciate you. We're going to end this in 3, 2, 1. We're done.